Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera. Alright, we're live, and as you guys can tell by the title and thumbnail, I'm going to be going through more vectors and C++. I forgot the concept. Let me go to my gameplay screen. That said, let me get Sitsa here, guys. I forgot the name of the topic. Okay, I think it was dynamic vectors. Or let me say we're live. And guys, the intro was like the shortest thing, honestly, and I had a lot of typos there. Okay, listen up, chat. Your disciple has returned to the battlefield of C++. He's not just here to code, he's here to conquer logic, bend vectors, and break limits. Today we're diving deeper, sharpening his blade with references, insertions, and more. Failure is not an option, only level up. So sit down, watch closely, and remember this: steel will never become a sword without being burnt or beaten. Are you ready, disciples? Shall we continue where we left off? And then insert. Honestly, I do need a review before we move on to the ants. Let me just say, before we move on, can we do a few questions to review? Okay, let's see. Okay, good. A warrior who reviews his swings doesn't lose his edge. Let's drill this memory with review challenges before we sharpen new skills. Your first one. Okay, I did need an instructional based question. Let me say, did I get a instructional based question mark? And that said, guys, I did forget to mention it by Discord that I'm going live. Give me a sec. Let me just go here. Okay, let me copy that. Howdy, Liner. Appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, let me go to Discord. Okay, announcements, paste it. Say, everyone, I'm live. Guys, I sometimes forget to do this. Okay, there we go. Okay, that said, good. You want to face the flames directly? Here's your instructional based challenge. Write a program that creates a standard vector, okay, with the values 10, 20, 30, 40, prints the original numbers, inserts number 99 at the start of the vector, inserts number 77, Okay, alright, let me get Sitsei there. Let's go with a Control A, delete everything. Alright, next up, let me start off by including IO stream. So I will include IO stream. Okay, include a pair of anchor brackets, IO stream, and then let me go ahead and include vectors as well. So I'll include pair of anchor braces, vectors. Honestly, just vector, and then I'm going to typecast my main function into an integer. Add a pair of curly braces, maybe go a bit down. And now, first thing that I do is create a standard vector, okay, container that contains values 10, 20, 30, and 40. So let's go with standard 2 colons vector. There we go, standard vector with a pair of anchor braces. This is going to be integer, and it's going to be called something like, let's go with numbers. Okay, so we have a container of numbers which just contains integers. Okay, I'll set that equal to add a, let's say dictionary, or not dictionary, a list of a few numbers. So 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Okay, honestly, I just need 40. Okay, and then prints the original numbers, inserts the number 99 and at the start of the vector, 77 at the third position, and 55 at the end of the vector. Prints the final numbers after inserting all. So under my standard vector, I'm going to be adding, let's say, a for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses for every, let's say, integer x, or for every integer num. In, I'll use in by adding a colon in my container of numbers. Okay, there we go. I'll be adding a dictionary here. Okay, is this part correct? For, okay, I do need to add a semicolon here. Okay, actually, I might add it here. Okay, there we go. I'm going to be adding a dictionary of, let's say, num. So I'll go with a standard console output. So std : console output with an insertion operator, I want to insert my numbers, another insertion operator with a space. Honestly, I might go with a comma. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then I'll go with another insertion operator and end my line. Alright, perfect. This is going to be a standard end line, so I'll go with std : end line. Alright, perfect. And then this is just going to print the regular list of numbers, which is 10, 20, 30, 40. Although I do need to insert a few numbers. So let's go with insert. I'll go with my numbers as container dot insert. Actually, can I go with dot insert? There we go, dot insert. Okay, I want to start with, I'll use the, honestly, I don't think it's start with, I think it's pushback. So dot numbers dot insert. Actually, do I need to insert or like pushback? Insert the number 99 at the start. Okay, so I can go with begin with. So begin. Okay, begin underscore with, or was it start with? Start underscore with. I forgot the function's name. I mean, okay, I might ask. Let me give Sunsei here real quick. Okay, let me just say, Sunsei, I actually forgot the name of the function. Was it starts with or begins with question mark or push underscore back? I know push underscore back is to append, but okay, your memory is slippery, disciple. I'll drill it back into your skull. Pushback value adds an element at the end of the vector. Insert position value inserts an element. Okay, oh, I think I see the trick. If you want to shove something back quickly, push back. Oh, push back, okay. If you want precise control, beginning, middle, and end, insert vector begin, first element, vector end. Okay, vector begin plus. Okay, so it was dot begin. I actually forgot the name of the function. That said, I'll go with my vector. My vector is my numbers list, so I'll go with numbers dot begins. Okay, so first number I'm going to begin it with. I'm going to use the begin function. Let's begin with 77. Okay, was it 77? I'm pretty sure it was, right? The instructions. Okay, it was actually 99. Okay, I'm pretty sure I don't need to add like a semicolon here. Insert number begins with 99. I should add a comma here. Okay, and then I'm going to be adding another insertion, so I'll go with numbers dot insert. Did I spell insert correct? I-N-S-E-R-T. There we go. My vector is going to be my numbers as container dot the begin function. I want to begin, okay, the middle number, right? So begin plus 3. This is going to be 77. Okay, and then I'm going to be adding, actually I'll add a semicolon here and here. Alright, next up I'm going to be going with numbers dot insert. I want to insert something in my numbers. I'll go with numbers dot the end function. This is going to be, let's say 55. Was it 55? Pretty sure it was, right? Okay, it was 55. Print the final numbers after all the insertions. So now my updated number is going to be, let's iterate over all my numbers again. For every pair of parentheses, integer num for every number in my container of numbers. Okay, I'll be adding a pair of curly braces, and then let me go with a standard console output. So std cout, an insertion operator, num, another insertion operator. This time I'm going to go with a colon. Okay, and lastly I'll go with an insertion operator with a standard end line. Okay, enter with a semicolon. Alright, perfect. Let me add a semicolon there, and lastly return 0. Okay, perfect. If I were to hit Control S, save my command, and then run the code. Okay, in my terminal. Okay, let's see. Honestly, in that case, I might not go with a standard end line, because I want everything to be in one line. The end line gives me a new line. There we go. If I were to like clean my terminal, go with Control S and run the command again. Okay, so it goes with 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, honestly, in that case, I might go with an end line under my for loop. So like right here, after my for loop, I'll go with a standard, let's go with end line. Okay, standard console output, standard cout, another insertion operator, standard end line. Okay. Now if I were to go with a Control S, save my command, and then if I run the code, There we go, 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, there is a comma though, but I think that's pretty good. Let's go with a Control C, copy that. Yes, should say here. Paste it, add a bunch of spaces. Actually, instead of adding bunch of spaces, I'll just send the command. Okay, yes, that's what I wanted to see. Check your blade swing. Original vector built correctly, printed the first time. Insert at the start, numbers.begin. Insert at the third position, numbers.begin plus 3. Insert at the end, numbers.end. Final print. Only thing missing after your second loop, add a standard console output end line to keep the output clean. Right now, it'll end on the same line as the program ends. That's just presentation polish. The logic is flawless. You're starting to move like a warrior who knows how this happens. Want me to raise these stakes next? For example, mix.insert and the and. So you not only insert values but also immediately modify them in place. Honestly, yeah. Honestly, yes. Should say. Okay, I think I'm warmed up enough. Excellent, now we turn your dagger into a great sword. Here's your instructional challenge. Write a program that creates a standard vector, okay, standard vector string. So a vector container that just consists of strings with the values red, blue, and green. Print all colors, insert purple at the start, orange at the second position, and pink at the end. After inserting, use a range-based for loop with and reference to add color to every element. Print the final modified vector. This mixes dot insert with and so you can see the true destructive power of references. Okay, this is going to be a little different. That said, let me go with the Control A, delete the whole thing. Let me start off by going with hashtag include pair of ankle braces IO stream. I want to include IO stream, and then I'll go with hashtag include. Let me include vector as well. Okay, vector is actually going to go inside my ankle braces. Okay, perfect. Next up, let me typecast my main function to an integer. So I'll go with integer main. And then let me go with a pair of parentheses. Maybe I'll go up. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and create a vector for position. So I'll go with a standard console. Actually, I'll go with a standard vector. Okay, a pair of ankle braces. This is just going to be consisting of strings. So standard string. And my container is going to be named something like colors, which is going to be equal to a few colors. I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what colors do I need? I needed red, blue, and green. So RBG, okay. So I'll go with red. And then let me go ahead and add a blue and then a green. There we go. Okay, so print all the colors. So I first print the colors, insert purple at the start. So first let's print all colors. To print all the colors, I'll go with a for loop for every pair of parentheses. Okay, for every standard string in my container of colors, for every standard string of color in my containers of colors. Okay, standard string color. Okay, I'm going to be doing something. Firstly, I'm going to be ending that with a semicolon, and then I'll go with a pair of curly parentheses. I want something for every std, okay, standard string color in my container of colors. I'll go with something like, let's see, hold up, let me just go back here real quick. There we go. Okay, I'll go with colors, so I'll go with a standard console output, so standard C out, okay, a pair of an insertion operator. I want to insert my color. Okay. Honestly, I might go with something like, let's see, a space after every color. And then I'll add a semicolon. And outside my for loop, I'm going to be adding, let's say, I'll go with a standard console output and insertion operator. I'll go with a standard end line. So endl. Alright, perfect. Next up, I'm going to be inserting a few more colors. So the colors that I need to insert is a purple at the start, orange at the second position, and pink at the third. So let's go with my list of colors. Okay, this time I'm going to be adding something. So I'll go with something like my colors is container dot the insert function. Okay. Now my position is going to be, did I spell insert correct? INSERT. There we go. Okay. So let's see, first I need a position. My position is going to be my colors dot begin. So my colors dot begin function, this is going to be beginning with, let's see, what was the color? It was purple. Okay, so colors dot begin purple. So purple. Okay, and then I will be adding a semicolon here and then going with colors dot insert again because I want to insert another color. So colors dot insert. You can use namespacing std after files so you don't have to write std again and again. Honestly, yeah, many people like they'll tell me that, although some of y'all and like you since it's a ChatGPT site in bigger projects, there would be like name clashing if that made any sense, because like there are a few programs like usually people in like bigger projects use standard instead of just plainly writing it. That's a good habit to build. Honestly, I should like try both. That said, let me go with colors.the insert function. I want to insert something. Okay, let's go with my colors dot begin with. So at what position? So at the second position, I want to insert orange. So I'll go with colors dot begin +2 because I want it to be inserted in the second position, and this is going to be orange. Okay, I will be ending this with a semicolon as well, and then let me go with a colors dot insert. Okay, I want to insert another color. Let's go with my colors' container dot begin. Actually, instead of begin, I will go with the end function because I want my pink color to be at the end. So end, my color is going to be pink. Okay, maybe I spelled incorrect. There we go. I will be ending this with a semicolon. And now I'm going to be using a range-based for loop to iterate over this. So to do that, I'll go with something like, let's see. Okay, I'll go with for a pair of parentheses for every standard string. Okay, for every standard string of color. Okay, I think I need to go with for every standard string in and color. Does that make sense? In my container of colors, okay, I'll add a pair of curly braces or curly parentheses. Okay, I'm going to be going with a standard console output, an insertion operator. I'm going to be inserting something. Let's see. I'm going to be inserting my color, okay, and then adding another insertion operator. This is going to be an empty space. This basically, let me just go with an end line. Honestly, I'll just end it with a semicolon. Outside my for loop, I'll go with a standard console output. Okay, and then I'm going to be adding an insertion operator. I'm going to go with a standard end line. Okay, there we go, that makes sense. Alright, lastly, let me go ahead and return 0, add a pair of semicolon. Actually, just add a semicolon. Hi, howdy Ayush, I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, if I were to go with a control S and like run the command. Okay, first it prints red, blue, green, then it prints purple, red, orange, blue, green, pink. Okay, perfect. Let me go with a control C, copy that, set it here. Okay, let me paste it, send it. Oh, there was like I added a small typo there. Huh, you swung strong, but you missed the target just a little. Look closely at step 6 of the challenge. After inserting, you use a reference loop to add color to every element. Right now, your loop is only printing, not modifying. You need to actually change the string inside the vector. Okay, that means for every string, oh, color plus equals to color. Okay, modify, not just print. Okay, I see. Then after that loop, do a second loop. Copy loop is fine to print the updated values. Your current output shows the original strings, but the warrior's task was to forge them into new forms. Fix it, make every element become red color, blue color, etc. Only then will you have completed the kill strike. I see it. Guys, I think I understand the instructions wrong. Bro, you don't need to fake your accent. Don't be ashamed of your Indian accent. Own it with pride. Honestly, guys, many people do say that. I don't know, like, I say that it's like almost impossible to like fake your accent like when you talk for hours, because I think like this is like actually the only accent that I'm like pretty fluent at. Okay, that said, let's see. Let's go with std vector, standard vector string. Okay, so firstly, I had to modify the stuff. So instead of going with a standard console output here, let me go ahead and add something like, let's see. I'll go with my standard console outputs. I will increase that. Actually, I'll go with my color. Okay, I'll add something to it. I'll be adding a color to it. Okay, and then I'm going to be ending it with a semicolon. Okay, so a standard. Wait, did I do something wrong here? A standard console output. Is the indentations wrong? Okay, I think it looks pretty correct. It might look at the reference code. Okay, for every standard string, I did that. Colors, details. Okay, I don't need to go with a standard console. Okay, guys, that was kind of stupid of me, my bad. Okay, this is just going to be colors plus equal to color. And then I go with a standard console output, okay. If I were to go with a control S, save it, and then run the command. Okay, let's see. So it says red, blue, green. Alright, perfect. I just got to, whatchamacallit, like, add this part up. So let's iterate over my list again. Okay, maybe under my for loop, I'll go with another for loop. Let's say something like for every pair of parentheses, standard, let's go with string. For every string, okay. And color, okay, for every string color in my container of colors. Okay, there we go. Let me go with a pair of anchor braces. Actually, not anchor braces, a pair of curly parentheses. Let's see. I'll go with a standard console output, so std out, and then add an insertion operator. I want to print I want my output to be my color. Then maybe add 2 more spaces and go with an empty space. There we go. Okay, perfect. Instead of a comma, I'll go with a semicolon. Alright, if I were to go with a control S, save the code, and then run the command. Okay, it's going to print red, blue, green. It's going to print purple color, red color, orange color, blue color, green color, and pink color. Perfect. Okay, let's go with a control Z, copy that, guys. I might just go with like harder questions now, because actually I think I need to practice more and then move on. Alright, let me say, actually I'll go with a shift enter and say, let's say, I see ... I don't know what I see, I just forgot what to say. That said, yes, Vivek, this is it. You didn't just strike, you pierced the target clean through. Look at what you've done. Inserted a new element in the correct positions, used a reference loop to mutate the vector itself, printed the transformed elements to prove your dominance. Now your output will roar red, blue, green. Okay, this is how Warrior forges chaos into order. Take this, head pat, respect, roar of approval, guys. That didn't make me blush. That said, let's say, I feel like I need more practice. Okay, guys, I just need more practice questions with this. So, good. That's the blood I want to see in your eyes. Okay, a warrior who thinks he's done is a dead man, but a warrior who carves more training is unstoppable. Alright, Vivek, since you're hungry, I'll forge you a brutal drill with insert, erase, and modifications all at once. Okay, challenge of steel. Create a vector dog, cat, bird, fish. So I create a vector that contains of animals. I print the vector. I insert horse. At the start position, I insert tiger. At the end position, I erase bird. Okay, I honestly never heard of the erase function. Let's see what that means. Erase the first element, whatever is at that point. Use a reference loop to add animal to every element. Print the final mutated vector. Your final output should look like a pack of beasts. Okay, let me just say, I honestly never used the erase function. Question mark. What does it do? Okay, guys, I feel like my phrasing is well wrong. Okay, good question, warrior. You can slice your inventory if you don't know about what blade you hold. Vector.erase, okay, is the executioner's axe. It removes elements from your vector. Okay, the syntax is vector. Okay, so my container's name dot the erase function iterator position. Is that how you pronounce it? Iterator position. This remove the element at the position. Okay, example, standard vector, standard string, animal, animal dot erase, animals dot begin +1. Okay, so that probably removes cat. Now the vector becomes bird dog or dog bird. Oh, I see. Okay, so it's almost the same as inserting. Okay, because cat at index 1 was erased. Okay, so you can also erase a range. Animal.erase, animals.begin, animals.begin +2. Huh. This removes the first 2 elements. Oh, okay, I see. Excuse me, guys. But remember, after erasing indicates shift. If you erase the first element, the second becomes the new first. So erase equals to cut out the unwanted, close the gap, and march forwards. Hey, do you want me to throw you some broken code with erase right now, or you can okay, let me actually say uh, I actually feel like I understand it. So can I get a instructional based question mark? Okay, let's see. Yo, the god, how you doing, Judamon? Or is it called Jultaman? Guys, I cannot pronounce. I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, good. You're ready to wield the axe. Here's your instructional challenge with .erase, .insert, and. Write a program that creates a standard vector container which only consists of strings with lion, tiger, bear, and wolf. Let me just remove that. Okay, there we go. Prints the original vector, inserts elephant at the start, inserts monkey in the third position, erases bear from the vector, erases the first element, whatever it is at that point, uses a reference loop to append animal to each remaining element, prints the final mutated vector. This will test your mastery of .insert, .erase, and reference. Zero indexing. Okay, let me get say there. Alright, so let me start off by going with Control A, deleting this whole thing, and let me include a pair of ankle braces IO stream. So let me include IO stream, and then let me go with a hashtag include a pair of ankle braces vector. So I want to include IO stream and then vector. Next, let me go ahead and typecast my main function into an integer. Go with a pair of curly braces. Gonna code along with you, start a new project. That's all. That honestly sounds pretty cool. Okay, let's all code together, guys. Alright, so next up, let me create a standard vector, an std vector. This is gonna consist of standard string. Okay, my standard string is gonna be called animals. Okay, my my container's name is gonna be called animals, which is going to be consisting of, let me set that equal to a pair of ankle braces, actually a pair of curly parentheses. Let's see, this is going to be something like, what all animals do I need to add? So I needed a lion, a tiger, a bear, and a wolf. So let me go with a lion, okay, a tiger, a bear, P-E-A-R, lastly a wolf. Okay, perfect. I spelled wolf wrong actually. Alright, perfect. So it consists of these print the original vector. So first let's print the original vector. I will be adding a semicolon here, and then let's go to the for loop. For every pair of parentheses, actually for a pair of parentheses, every standard string of animal. Okay, stop jumping from a program language to the other, stick with one. And why are you learning vector when it's your 4th day? Sarah, how doing, Bader? I appreciate you joining the stream. And honestly, I'm not like jumping from like one programming language to the other. I started with Python because that was like my Python for 100 days. Although I did want to learn different programming languages. And since my 100 days for Python series just ended like 4 days ago, I started like a new programming series which is called Programming for 250 Days, where my goal by the end of the series is to learn anything that I have to, and by the end of this series, I'm going to be making a game that consists of AI/artificial intelligence, and C++ is like indented inside of my 250 days of programming series. So out of that 250 days, I'm going to be spending a good chunk, 100 days, mastering C++, if that made any sense. That said, for every standard string of animal in my, let's go with colon, in my container of animals, I'll go with a pair of curly parentheses. Let's see. Okay, I want to do something. Let's see. I'll go with animal plus equals to. Okay, my animals is single iterator. Okay, I'll increase that by animal. So a string animal. Okay, and then I'll be adding a semicolon here. Next up, let's go with a standard console output. I might go with a semicolon here. Okay, I'm pretty sure I don't need to go here in that case. Alright, so let me go with a standard console output. So standard console output, an insertion operator. I want to insert my animal. Okay, and then I'll go with another insertion operator. And I feel like, let me copy that. This thing could like go inside this loop, or I could add another for loop. I might go with another for loop. So for a pair of parentheses, for every standard string of animal in my container of animals, okay, I'll go with a pair of parentheses. Then I'll go with a standard console output and insertion operator. This is going to be my animal. And I'm going to be adding another insertion operator with a empty space here. Okay, I'll add a semicolon, and then outside my for loop, I'm going to go with a standard console output. This is going to be end line. I'm going to be ending my line here. So a standard end line. Okay, perfect. So that prints my basic. Okay, I didn't print my my regular, my original list. So let's do that. So I'll go with another for loop. So for, it's quite good to know multiple. I main C++, but I use Python for debug scripts, and I use TypeScript for servers. Honestly, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Like, I do want to learn multiple programming languages as well. That said, I don't know which programming language I actually like for now. So I will be exploring different things, and then if I see that I like something, I'll like stick to that. Okay, so let's go with for pair of parentheses for every standard console output. Okay. Of animal in my list of animals. In my list of animals. Okay, let's see. Did I like spell something wrong? For every standard string. Okay, for every standard string of animal in my list of animals, if there are curly parentheses, I'm going to be printing my animal. So I'll go with standard console output. Okay, so console output, I'm going to be adding an insertion operator. I want to print my animals. Then another insertion operator with a space. Okay, that looks perfect, honestly. And then I append animals. I print animal to it. After I append, honestly, I might insert something as well. And since order of operations do matter, under this, okay, I gotta insert an elephant at the start, a monkey at the third position, and a bear from the vector. So let's go with something like my container of animals. Excuse me, guys, dot insert. Okay, so I want to insert something. Let's see. I'll go with my animal, my container, dot the begin function. I want to begin it with a bear. There we go. I might go with a capitalized bear. There we go. Actually, bear is the last, so I could go with elephant here. Okay, did I need to add like a semicolon here? I'm pretty sure my function is correct. This is going to be animals. There we go. Alright, perfect. Let me add a semicolon here and go with my animals dot insert function again. I want to insert something else. So what do I want to insert? I'll go with my animals as containers. So animals as container dot the begin function. Okay, this time my monkey is going to be at my third position. So let me go with +3. Okay, this is going to be monkey. There we go. Alright, I will add another semicolon, and lastly, I'll go with my animals dot insert. Okay, I'll go with my animals as container dot begin. Actually, instead of begin, I'll go with end. Wait, it said, did I have to insert erase bear from the vector? Okay, this doesn't say insert, it says erase. So I'll use the erase function. Okay, I want to erase bear. So how did we erase them? Since bear is at the second index, I'm gonna go with animals dot erase. Let's go with 2. The erase function, this is gonna be 2. Is this how the erase works? Pretty sure this is not how it works. Okay, what if I remove my animals? Huh. Okay, I might just go with a semicolon here. Alright, let's just go with a control C. Let me copy that. It's here. Brother, can you help me, please? Honestly, I can definitely try to help. I'm not that good in like programming yet, like unless it's related to Python. That said, you can like join the Discord server and then like mention me there and ask for help. If I could actually help you, then I can like let you know. Although, what do you need help with? That said, let me paste this. Go with Shift Enter and say. So let's say I feel like I messed up. I feel like I messed up. ... I forgot how to use the erase function. Okay, you need being +2. Oh. Okay, let's see. So erase. Let me go with my animal dot begin. Okay, do I just gotta go? Oh wait, it's okay. Animal dot begin plus 2. Okay, I think I understood that wrong. Okay, Nisha, you can, brother, my game project I need to submit before September 30th. Guys, I don't think that I'm actually that good with it. Although you could try asking people on my Discord server for help. You can like go with like exclamation Discord to like get the link. I'm pretty sure I set Nightbot. Okay, is my Nightbot acting cranky? Okay, let me just. Oh wait, there we go. Hey guys, you guys can like, cause I might actually not be that good at programming yet. Just, I mean, for the time being, but eventually once I get a quick gist of it, then I could like help you guys. That said, I see exactly where your blade slipped, disciple. The problem, animals.erase. This is wrong. Erase doesn't take index directly. It takes an iterator. A point to the element in the vector. Correct usage for erasing the third element bare originally is animal.erase animal.begin plus 2. Huh, didn't I like add this? Did I spell it wrong? But I don't know why. But my C++ is get full error. Honestly, I can like relate so much because like sometimes we do like a lot of mistakes. That said, I think that you should like ask someone who's like more experienced in this, or maybe ask your professors if it's like a college assignment. Okay, that's it. Let's go with a for loop. So for every string animal in animals, animal increases by animal. That doesn't modify the vector. Oh, I forgot to add the and animal. Okay. Alright, so for my erase, I go with my iterator. So animals.begin plus 2. This is correct. Okay, so I gotta, didn't I like do that? Animal.erase plus 2. Okay, so, oh, I think I went with animal. This should be animals. There we go, it was just a typo. Okay, let's, if I were to go with a control S, actually before control S, I'll go with a and here. There we go. This is going to change my actual container here. Okay, if I were to run the command. Okay, it's going to say lion, tiger, bear, wolf, animal, lion. Okay, lion, animal, monkey, animal, bear, animal. Okay, to fix that, I might go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. Okay, perfect. Now if I were to go with the control S and like run the command. Okay, that's the first one. That's the second one. Alright, perfect. Let me go with the control A, control C. Let's say here. Okay, if I were to like paste it. Yo, howdy Mochi Mochi, I appreciate you joining the stream. If I were to add a space and like standard, let's see. And guys, I feel like I'm kind of drained today because like I woke up early morning and I was like working on my college stuff. That's sad. Let me drink some water. Okay, yes now you've done it perfectly. Inserted element at the start, inserted monkey at the third position, spelling monkey aside, the logic is flawless. Erase the third element correctly with animals.begin, used and in the loop to mutate the vector, printed the final mutated vector, your final output will look like Okay, you have mastered the destructive trio of insert, erase, and references. Your stream viewers would be Okay, let me just say, let's say I feel like I'm just getting a gist of it. I do need a lot more practice. So can we do more practice questions? Okay, let's see. Good, that's the hunger I want to see. We'll drill more practice questions so the knowledge is etched into your skull. No mercy, just repetition until your brain bleeds C++ vectors. Here's your first practice question. Battle of fruits. Create a standard vector container that only consists of strings. Okay, it is going to be having apple, banana, and cherry to it. Print the original vector. Insert mango at the start. Insert pineapple at the second position. Erase banana. Use a reference loop to append fruit to every remaining element. Print the final vector. Write it out, execute it, and show me. Okay, let me get say there. Go with a control A, delete this whole thing. Let me start off by including ankle braces IO stream. So I include IO stream, and then let me go ahead and include the vector. Okay, next up, I'll typecast my main function to an integer. So I'll go with integer main. Add a pair of ankle braces, actually a pair of curly braces, maybe a bunch of spaces. And let me go ahead and create a standard vector. Okay, standard vector, a pair of ankle braces. Let's say I want to add something. Standard string. My container is only going to be consisting of strings. My container is going to be called something like fruits, which is going to be having a few fruits in it. So what are fruits what I need? So I forgot the fruits that I needed. I needed apple, banana, and cherry. So let's go with apple. Okay, add a comma, banana, another comma, cherry. Okay, there we go. Alright, next up, print the original vector. So let me go ahead and add a semicolon right here. And then let's iterate over my container. So I'll go with for every, let's say, pair of parentheses for every standard string. Okay, for every standard string of my fruits in my container of fruits. Okay, I'm gonna be going with a pair of curly braces, and let's go with a standard console output because I want to show an output on my screen with an insertion operator. I want to output my fruits with another insertion operator. This is going to be an empty space. Okay, bro, your Discord link says invalid. Honestly, I don't know why it does that. Let me just copy it and send it. I did like usually add the correct ones. I gotta check why that always does it. Okay, let me just copy that. Okay, there we go. Okay, perfect. Let me just paste it here. There we go. That should work. I mean, yesterday I set my night bot up so like I don't need to pin a link always. So just exclamation Discord might work. For some reason, it doesn't work. Okay, that said, let me just check if my Twitch stream and Kick stream is going good. Wait, Twitch is going good. I'm learning cybersecurity. That honestly sounds pretty good. Let me later once you're pretty good with it, let me know how's it like. Cause I was planning to either be an AI engineer or a cybersecurity, but I don't know which one should I go for yet. That said, I go with a standard output. I will end this with a semicolon, and then let's see what else would I need. I might have to insert something, so I do need to insert mango and pineapple, but I want to remove banana from my container. So I'll go with my container's name. So my fruits.insert. I want to insert something. Let me go with my fruits.begin. I want to begin my fruits with, let's say, a mango. Okay, and then I will be adding a semicolon here. And then I'll go with my container again, fruits.insert. I want to insert something else. I'll go with fruits.begin. I'll go with plus what position? At the second position, I need to insert pineapple. So I'll go with 2. This is going to be pineapple. Okay, and then I'll go with a semicolon. Actually, I'll go with a control Z. Semicolon. Okay, and this is going to be fruits. Bro, my cat is a programmer. What time is it for you? It's currently 1:55 p.m. Honestly, that's actually sounds pretty good. Your cat is a programmer. I want to actually adopt or get a cat because I do like cats a lot. That said, I'll go with a fruits.erase. Okay, I want to erase something. Let's see, what do I want to erase? Did I spell erase correct? Okay, I'll go with my fruits container dot let's say begin. I want to erase banana. Banana is in the second. Actually, it's at the first index, so I'll go with +1. Okay, so that inserts and erases my stuff. Let me print my updated list. Use a reference loop to append fruit to every remaining element. Print the final vector. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. Let's go with a standard string for every standard string of fruits in my, let's say, container of fruits. And before my fruit, I'll go with a and. Okay, I'll go with a pair of angle braces or a pair of curly parentheses. I will be adding a semicolon there. That said, I'm going to be going with a standard console output, but before that, I'll go with, let's say, my fruit plus equals to a string of fruit. Okay, and then outside my for loop, I'm going to be going with a new line. I will be adding a semicolon here. Okay, I'll go with a standard console output and insertion operator. I want to insert a standard end line. Okay, perfect. Alright, now let me go ahead and print my updated vector. Remember me, said I. Honestly, I do remember you, Crimson. I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, let's go with another for loop. For a pair of curly parentheses for every standard string. Okay, for every standard string of fruits in my container of fruits. Okay, I'm going to be printing something. Let's go with, actually, I'll go with a pair of curly parentheses. I want to print something, so I'll go with my fruits. Actually, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of my fruit and then another insertion operator of maybe an empty space. I don't know. Alright, and lastly, I'll go with a standard console output and insertion operator. I'm going to be ending my line, and then let me return 0. Okay, perfect. Alright, I do need to add a semicolon here. Okay, if I were to go with a Control S to save, okay, this is going to be a standard end line. There we go. Okay, if I were to go with a Control S to save and run the command, okay, it's going to be, there we go. It says apple, banana, cherry. In the new line, it says mango, fruit, pineapple, fruit, banana, fruit, and cherry fruit. Okay, perfect. Let me go with a Control C. Get Sensei Source ChatGPT here. Hey, I'm currently working as IT executive in Apollo Clinic. That actually sounds pretty cool. Okay, let me paste this. Yes, strong swing, Vivek. Check your blade. Original vector created. Print original. Mango inserted at start. Pineapple inserted at the second position. Banana erased correctly. Reference loop used to mutate elements. Final vector printed. Your final output will be apple, banana, cherry, mango fruit, pineapple fruit, cherry fruit. Perfect execution. I don't want to discourage you, but C/C++ is easier on Linux. Oh, I see. Is it like easier? Is like Linux? I heard like Linux is like a different software, or like is it a software or a hardware? Actually, let me just check that. A software or a hardware? How it's easier to get compilers and libraries, but learning C++ itself is not harder on Windows if you don't want a dual boot. Oh, I see your setup. Oh, I think I see the just like Windows, iOS, and Mac OS, Linux is an operating system. Oh, I see. Honestly, I feel like since I learned my Python basics pretty well, I feel like C++ is almost the same, just with different syntaxes. Like the for loops and everything, it like makes sense like logically. Okay, but it's just usually the syntaxes. With that said, okay, I forgot. Why did I get sensei here? Okay, now we sharpen for the next practice drill. This one will mix numbers, insertions, erase, and double values with AND. Number 2, power numbers. Create standard vector. Okay, integer. So we have a container of integers that only consists of numbers. These are the 4 numbers in it. Print original, insert 50 at start and 100 at end. Erase the second element after insertion. Use a reference loop to double each remaining numbers. Print the final vector. Okay, let's see. Alright, let me get Sensei there. Let's go with the controller, delete the whole thing. Let me start off by including IO stream. So let's include a pair of ankle braces, IO stream. Did I spell IO stream correct? Okay, and then let me go ahead and include, so a hashtag include. I might have to add a hashtag up here as well. There we go. I'll go with hashtag include vectors. So I'm going to be including vectors as well. Okay, perfect. Next up, let me go ahead and typecast my main function to an integer and then go with a pair of ankle braces. Actually, curly parentheses. Pipes are way easier to manage on Linux because of Windows. You need Win32 API. Honestly, yeah, when I was installing like what's it called, VS Code? Yeah, when I was installing VS Code and like C++, the YouTuber that I was watching, the tutorial that I was following, did say it has like Windows have like multiple steps in it. But both are logically, at least. Honestly, yeah, I feel like the syntaxes are just different. The logic is almost the same. Also, reading and writing files to them is also easier in Linux. Oh, I see. Okay, so after an integer main, I'm going to be going with, let's say, a standard vector. So I'll go with a standard vector with a pair of anchor braces, this is going to be, let's say, a integer. Okay, so my container is going to be consisting of integers, and my container is going to be named numbers. Also, that equal to a list. Okay, so my numbers are going to be 5, 10, 15, and 20. So let's go with 5, 10, 15, and 20. Alright, next up, outside my, actually, I might add a semicolon here, and then let's iterate over it. So it says print the original vectors. So I'll go with for defaults is not really different. Having you use Win32 API using, have you used Win32 API using Python? Honestly, when I was like learning Python, I didn't move on to the APIs topic, although I do have to move on. Like my 100 series was almost at the end, so I had to like rush and just learn Pygames. Okay, let's see. So for a pair of parentheses, let's go with for every integer of num in my container of numbers. Okay, I'm going to be printing something. So I'll go with, actually, I'm going to be showing a console output. I'll go to a pair of curly braces. I'll go with something like, I don't know, a standard console output, okay, with an insertion operator. I want to show my numbers, another insertion operator. They are going to be separated with a space. Alright, next up, let me go ahead and insert a few numbers. So insert 50 at the start and 100 at the end. So I could go with something like numbers, my containers dot insert, the insert function. I want to insert something, so numbers dot begin. I want to begin my numbers with 50. Okay, did I spell insert correct? There we go. And then I'll go with my numbers as container dot insert again. I want to insert my, actually I want to end. Insert 50 at the start and 100 at the end. So, okay, numbers dot the end function. I want to insert 100 at the end. Okay, perfect. I'll go with this semicolon. Erase the second element after insertion. Use a reference loop to double each remaining numbers. Print the final vector. Okay, so first I gotta erase the second element. So let me go with the numbers dot the erase function. I want to erase the second element. What is my second element? It's 10, which is at index 1. So let's go with my numbers as container dot erase. Actually, numbers dot begin. Okay, my second element is going to be at the first index. Alright, and then I'll go with a semicolon. Perfect. Use a reference loop to double each remaining number. So I gotta use a reference loop to double each number. To do that, I'll go with a for loop for a pair of parentheses. For every integer of number in my list of numbers or in my container of numbers. For every and integer, since the and represents a reference loop. Without the and, I modify a copy of my container. With and, I modify my container itself. Okay, I will be adding a pair of angle brace, or actually a pair of curly braces. I gotta double each number, so I'll go with my num. Okay, num asterisk 2, asterisk equals to 2, so num multiplied by 2. Okay, I'll go with a semicolon and then print the final vector. So to print the final vector, I'll go with a for loop. So for a pair of parentheses, every integer of my num, for every integer number in my container of numbers, I'll go with a pair of curly braces. This is going to be a standard console output. So I'll go with std cout with an insertion operator. I want to insert my number. And another insertion operator. They are going to be separated with a space and a semicolon. Lastly, let me go ahead and return 0. Pygame is actually built on SDL2, which is built using C. Oh, that's actually pretty cool, honestly. Honestly, I thought that programming, actually I thought that all IDEs are made using assembly. I don't know, I just thought that might be completely wrong. Did I spell return wrong? I think I spelled return wrong. There we go. Okay, so if I were to go with Control S, save the command, and then run the code, okay, it's going to print 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, after my for loops here, I might go with a standard console output with an insertion operator and end my line. I might do the same thing here. I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator, and then I'll go with end line. Okay, standard end line. So std end line here as well, standard end line. Okay, perfect. If I were to go with the Control S and run the command now, it's going to be much more pretty. There we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, the original list. 120, 30, 40, 200, the updated list. Perfect. Let's go with a Control A, Control C. Good, let's say here. Okay, paste it, add a bunch of spaces. Actually, instead of adding a bunch of spaces, I'll go with Shift Enter and say, let's say, I feel like I'm understanding how this works. I just need more practice. Okay, IDs are made in higher languages. XD. Honestly, I thought that the closest language to like actual machine code is like assembly. So I thought every single ID was made using assembly. Never mind. Okay, yes, that's the hunger I want to see. You executed perfectly. Inserted 50 at the start, inserted 100 at the end, erased the second element correctly, used reference loop to double values, printed the vector. Output will be well calculated. Well calculated values, make sure to check math. Okay, we crank up the difficulty. Let's make strings and numbers, multiple inserts, arrays, and references in one program to test your true vector mastery. Chaos vector challenge. Create a vector of integers. Okay. Insert 10 at the start, 20 and 20 at the third position, and 30 at the end. Erase the second element. Okay. Use a reference loop to triple every remaining number. Print the final vector. This will test your precision with insert, arrays, and references. Okay, let me just say there. When you use the reference symbol and you actually modify the value in the address you're referencing using the reference symbol, you actually modify the value addressing. Oh, I see. Okay, okay, that actually does make sense. You're referencing using the reference symbol. Referencing. Oh, I think I understand. Okay, let me go with the Control A, delete the whole thing. Let me start off by going with hashtag include. I want to include IO stream, so let me include IO stream, and then let me go ahead and include vectors. So a pair of ankle braces, vector. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and typecast my main function into an integer. So I'll go with integer main. Okay, I'll add a pair of curly parentheses. There we go. Did I spell include wrong? IO stream. There we go. I spelled IO stream wrong. Okay, perfect. Next up, let me go ahead and create a container. So I'll go with a standard vector. So standard vector. Okay, my vector is going to be having a pair of ankle braces or ankle brackets. Okay, this is going to be an integer. My vector is going to be only consisting of integers, and my container is going to be called numbers, which is going to be equal to a few numbers. Let's see what are numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so otherwise, if you type the value without reference symbol, it just makes a copy of your variable and modifies that inserts of the original value. Oh, I see. Okay, and then let me go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, perfect. Let me add a semicolon here. Go down. Next up, insert 10 at the start and 20 at the third position, 30 at the end. So let's go with my container of numbers. Dot the insert function. I want to insert something. So in my numbers' container, I'm going to begin my containers with, let's see, with 10. There we go. And then I gotta insert something at the third position. So I'll go with my numbers as container dot insert. So I'll go with dot insert. There we go. So I'll go with my numbers dot, let's go with begin function again, but this time I'm going to begin plus 3 to get the third position. And I'm going to be inserting 20. And then lastly, I will be adding a semicolon there and there. Okay, lastly, I'll go with my numbers. This time, I'm going to be adding 30 at the end of my position or at the end of my container. So numbers.insert, instead of the begin function, I'm going to go with the end function. I want to end my list with 30. It's IO stream. Honestly, I do need to ask Sensei/ChatGPT, what does IO stream even do? I know that it consists of all these things that we're using here, all these main functions and everything. I do gotta like fact check myself on that. Okay, my bad guys, I closed my screen by mistake. Okay, that said, next up it says use a reference loop to triple every element remaining. Okay, erase the second elements and the last element. Okay, so I gotta erase 2 and 5. So the second element and the last element. So I'll go with something like numbers.the erase function. I want to erase something off my container of numbers. I'm going to be erasing my second element. So I'll go with begin plus 2. Okay. Then add a semicolon. This is going to be numbers. Alright, and then I want to erase my last element, so I'll go with numbers dot erase. Okay, I'll go with my container of numbers dot end. There we go. Okay, I think end should make sense here, right? Pretty sure it should. Okay, use a reference loop to triple every remaining number. So I'll go with a for loop. So for pair of parentheses, for every integer of number, for every reference number, okay, in my container of numbers, in numbers, I'm going to be doing something. I'll add a pair of curly braces, input output stream. Oh, so the IO stream manages the inputs and outputs. If that's okay, so does the IO stream manage like the console output? I think that's what it means. I think that's what it means. Okay, so I gotta triple my number. So I'll go with number asterisk equals to 3. So I'm gonna multiply my number by 3, maybe add a semicolon here. And then let me print the final vector. So I'll go with another for loop. So for every integer of let's go for every integer number in my container of numbers, I'm going to be doing something. This is going to be in a pair of braces, or actually a pair of parentheses. I'll go to a pair of curly braces. Let me go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert my number. Another insertion operator, my numbers are going to be divided or separated by a space. This is going to be std. Okay, and then I'll be adding a semicolon there. Lastly, I'm going to return 0. And honestly, before I return 0, it does say create an original vector. I might go with something like a standard console output. There we go. An insertion operator, a standard end line. I'm going to be printing this in a new line. You could also reference indexes like numbers at index. Honestly, okay, that's the way I actually learned in Python, like going within number at index. I am pretty curious if you can do that in C++. I might try that. So if I go with the Control S and run the command, it's going to print 33, 69, 12, 15. Does that triple the numbers? Okay, I removed the first number. Actually, it's a remove the second number. 33, 60. Okay, I think that makes sense because I had a 10 here. Okay, if I were to go with the Control A, Control C, let me just say here. I'm dumb ASL. Can you explain your code? I'm completely new. Honestly, I could try explaining in more detail because, like, usually I do prefer explaining my code so I understand it better as well, but I'll try going a bit more slower. Okay, let me paste that. Okay, let's see. You slipped, warrior. Your logic is closed, but this line is deadly wrong. The end. Numbers.end, okay, is one past the last element. It's not a valid element to erase. This will cause undefined behavioral crash, okay? The correct way to use erase. Oh, so this is where we use -1. Okay, numbers.erase, number.end, -1. Everything else is solid. Insertion's correct. Okay, do you want to correct yourself or should I? Okay, let me say. So say I corrected it. Can I get another instructional based question mark? Okay, let's see. I gotta like fix my typos, maybe type a little slower. That said, excellent, the blade is sharpening again. Here's your next instructional challenge. Mistake numbers and colors. Create a vector of integer. Okay, there we go. This is where we create now 2 vectors. Have you heard of concept of wipe coding? Honestly, yeah, like many people have like saying me that do I wipe code or like asking me do I wipe code. I did like ask them what it means. They said it's basically like asking AI to code and getting that block of code and like using that code, if that made any sense. I don't know, like I should like fact check myself though. Okay, insert 10 at the start of the integer vector, insert yellow at the second position of the vector, erase the third element of the integer vector, double everything, append color, print the modified one. Okay, before I start this, let me just fix my end. So it's going to be n minus 1. If I were to go with the Control S, save my code and run the command. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Alright, so let me delete this and this time start off by explaining a little slower. I'll go with a hashtag and include IOStream. Pair of ankle braces, IOStream. And now that I included IOStream, let me go here real quick and ask Sensei, what does the hashtag include pair of angle brackets, IO stream mean slash do. Okay, let's see what does the IO stream do. Listen closely, warrior. It hashtag include IO stream is like summoning the magical scroll of input and output in C++. Include tells the compiler, bring in the code before you start compiling my program. Okay, IO stream is the library that contains the tools for reading from the keyboard. Okay, standard console input and writing. Oh, I see. Okay, and writing on the screen, standard console output. Without it, your program cannot print anything to the console or read inputs. It's like trying to swing a sword with no sword in hand. Okay, I see. Include IO stream, standard console output, send text to the console, insertion operator, pipe this text into the console, standard end line, end the line, and flush the output. Include IO stream equals unlock your program's eyes and Y's. I see. Okay, let me just go to the instruction-based code now. I hate it so much, I don't even consider it a branch of coding. Honestly, yeah, many people did say me to use like AI tools, but I'm like, it wouldn't make sense like if I don't understand a block of code, or I feel a little bad like if I don't understand a block of code, I just copy it in my actual program. Instead, I like to understand the code. That said, first I include IOStream. So basically what IOStream does is it shows, it's like the eyes and ears of my compiler, or like my C++ program. It's gonna like tell my compiler that an input is entered on the screen. I want to display an output, if that made any sense. Next up, I'll include vectors. So I'll go with hashtag include a pair of ankle braces vector. Okay, there we go. Let me start off by going with integer main, typecasting my main function to an integer, going with a pair of curly parentheses, and then let's see, let me go with a standard let's say vector, because I do need to create a container of integers and strings this time. So to create two different containers, I'm going to be going with standard vector, a pair of anchor brackets. This is going to be integer. This container is only going to be consisting of integers. It is going to be called numbers. Did I need numbers? Okay, the next one is strings for colors. Okay, which is going to be equal to a pair of curly parentheses. I'll go with something like, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'll end it off with a semicolon and create another container. I'll go with a standard vector, okay, a standard vector with a pair of anchor brackets. This is going to be a standard string. There we go. Okay, this string is going to be called colors. This container is going to be called colors, which is going to be equal to a pair of curly parentheses of a few colors. So I need red, green, and blue. So RGB. I'll go with red. This is going to be red, and then green. Okay, there we go. And lastly, blue. I will be ending this with a pair of semicolons as well. Well, I just joined. What problem are you currently working on? Honestly, I'm working on like understanding vectors and like containers and how to add preference-based for loops and all that stuff. Honestly, it's like I'm trying to use the insert function, erase function, begin with function, even the end function. I'm trying to get a little used to the syntaxes. That said, after I create two containers, I'll go with insert at the start of the integer vector. So insert 10 at the start of the integer vector. So I'm going to be going with my integers containers name. So numbers dot insert function. I want to insert something. So I want to insert something in my container of numbers. This is going to be begin. Okay, so I'm going to begin my numbers with, let's say 10. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to be ending this with a semicolon, and then next up, insert yellow at the second position of the string vector. So let's go with, actually this time instead of numbers, I'll go with my colors as container. So colors dot insert, I want to insert something. I'll go with colors dot, let's say begin. I want to begin something. Okay, yellow at the second position. So I'll go with the begin function plus 2. This is going to be yellow. Okay, you're so honest. Honestly, I feel like I should like work more hard on this stuff. I know that wasn't the correct answer. It's like basically saying learning to code hard. I'll just have AI to do it for me, since learning to code will be useless in the future because AI will replace coders in the future anyway. Honestly, so many people have been saying that to me, like whatchamacallit, like, is it like worth it to program right now? If we don't program, AI is going to take anything. But like, I think like, if we don't program, like, who's going to be making those AIs? Because like in my 100 series, it was getting real hard. Like, out of my, when I had like a 400 lines of code for my day 100 series, it was like getting really hard to ask Sensei slash ChatGPT for help if something was wrong in the code. Because when I asked for help, the code got even worse. Because I'm like, if you have like, for example, a 5,000 lines of code, I don't know if that even exists, but yeah, AIs would make a lot of mistakes. Okay, where are you from? Your accent is so good. I appreciate you, Arti. I'm currently in the United States, and I should learn to pronounce the names. I think I pronounced it wrong. Okay, that said, erase the third element of the integer vector. Okay, so I want to erase the third element of my integer. Okay, so firstly, I'll go with my numbers dot the erase function. So I want to erase something. Let me go ahead and erase something from my numbers. So I'll go with numbers dot begin. Okay, so it says erase the third element. So to erase the third element, I'll just go with +3. So the third element is going to be blue. Okay, I will be adding a semicolon here and here. Okay, and then erase the first element of the string vector. So the first element of the string vector is red. So let me go ahead and add a colors dot the erase function. I want to erase something. Let's go with my colors dot begin function. Okay, I want to erase the first element. So I'll go with 1. Okay, perfect. Hey, how's it going on? How are you doing, Duxcap? I appreciate you joining this stream. And honestly, guys, I don't have like much knowledge about immigration or anything, guys, because I live under a rock. So I should like, I'm like almost the worst person to ask that about. That said, use reference loops, double every integer, append color to everything. So I gotta first double every integer. So to double every integer, I am going to be going with a reference-based for loop. Are you currently pursuing a degree? Honestly, I did like join college, but currently I'm not pursuing a degree. I'm just like getting over with my basic college classes. That's the reason I can't like program as much as I used to before when I first started my 100 series. When I first began my Python for 100 series, I used to at least program for like 10 hours a day. It's like I used to wake up, start programming, then sleep. Now I wake up, study for my college until I start streaming. Then when I'm streaming, I like program. Once I'm done streaming, I study for my college again, then sleep, do the same thing every single day. Dude, sorry for sounding racist, but I thought you were Indian. Honestly, like, it's, guys, what gives it away? Actually, I do want to visit India someday. It does sound like a pretty good place, and I would definitely like stream when I visit India. That said, use reference loops, double integers. So I'll go with a for loop. So for a pair of parentheses for every integer, let's go with number. For every integer and number, right here, there we go. Okay, for every integer number in my container of numbers, I'm going to be doing something. Let's go with a pair of anchor brackets. I'm going to double every integer. So I'll go with my num multiplied or asterisk equals to 2. This doubles all my numbers. I will go with a semicolon, and then it says append color to every string. So to do that, let me go with another for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses, every standard string in, let's say, for every standard string in numbers, actually in my container of colors. Okay, for every standard string color. Okay, I'll do something, let's see. I'm going to be appending something to my colors. So I'll go with my color plus equals to a string of color. Okay, print both vectors after modification. So let me print both vectors. First, I will be ending this with a semicolon. In my college, people always say Java is better than C++ for data structure algorithms. What are your thoughts on that? Honestly, I do want to start learning JavaScript. I didn't like learn much of JavaScript because like C++ is my second language, and it's the fourth day that I've been learning C++. That said, I am eventually planning to learn JavaScript because I heard that JavaScript is like the entire foundation or like the decorations over your screen. For example, how a calculator looks, where are the buttons and everything. That sounds pretty good as well. Actually, I think those are like GUIs. I say Python is even better. It has a built-in library for working with JSONs. Honestly, I need to work with like different Python libraries. After my 258 series, I might go ahead and refine more of my Python skills, my C++ skills, or I could go with something else as well. Okay, let's see. Now to print something, I'll go with another for loop. So for every I'll go with a pair of parentheses for every integer of number. In my container of numbers, I'll go with a pair of angle braces. To try using n like standard count. Hello. The same thing as standard n line and is even faster. Actually, I might use that in that case. Okay, let's go with my numbers. So I'll go with a standard console output, an insertion operator. I want to insert my number, another insertion operator. This is going to be a space. My number is going to be divided with a space. I will be ending that with a semicolon, and then let's go with another for loop. So for every standard string of, let's say, color, in my container of colors, I'll go with a pair of curly braces. I'll go with a standard console output. Okay, an insertion operator. This is going to be my color. Another insertion operator with a, let's say, a space. Okay, Java is different than JavaScript. It's easy to do import JSON from JSON import. But my teachers say you can't use Python libraries in programming competitions. Honestly, we can't. Oh, that's something new. Okay, excuse me, guys. Alright, next up, let me go ahead and go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This time, instead of end line, I will be trying a /n. This is going to be a new line. I will be ending that with a semicolon. And maybe do the same thing right here. I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of new line. Okay, perfect. Alright, and then let me actually return 0 as well. So I'll go ahead and return 0 at a semicolon. If I were to go with the Control S, save my code and run the command, okay, it's going to print 22, 4, 8, 10. It's going to print red, yellow, blue, or red, yellow, blue. Let me delete that. Go with a Control C, get sensor here. Okay, let me paste it. Instead of adding a bunch of space, I'll go with Shift Enter and say, I think I read the instructions wrong, but maybe I read it correct. Guys, I don't know what else to say. Okay, I should like fix my typos, maybe type a little slower. I see what happened, Disciple. You executed almost everything correctly, but there's like one sneaky problem hiding in your string loop. For every standard string of color in my container of colors, I go with color, I increase that by my color. This doesn't modify. Oh, I forgot the and. No wonder I was thinking I missed something. Okay, this doesn't modify the original vector because color is just a copy. You need a reference to actually change the vector. Everything else is spot on. Okay, let me say, I see ... I did feel like something was missing, comma. That said, I think I just need more practice ... Can we do more questions, ? Okay, let's see. Okay, that's the Spirit Warrior will hammer your mind into steel with more vector battles. Here's your next instructional challenge. Question number 5, Ultimate Vector Gauntlet. Is that how you pronounce it, gauntlet? Create a standard vector integer. So we have a container which only consists of integers with these numbers. We have another container that only consists of strings with these alphabets. Okay, so alpha, beta, and gamma. And then we insert 15 at the start of the integer vector. We insert delta at the end, at the second position of the vector. Erase the third element of the vector. Erase the first element of the vector. Use reference loop, add 5 to every integer. Append series to every string. Print both vectors after modification. Alright, let me get some say there. Learning Go language is the key to distributed programming, basically the foundation of cloud computing. Oh, honestly, I actually never heard of Go learning. I might just check into that after the stream, or like maybe after I'm done learning my college stuff. Okay, that said, I will start off by including and then going with IOStream. So let me go ahead and include IOStream. IOStream basically lets the compiler, I'm assuming this entire block of square here is a compiler that lets the compiler know if we're getting an input or we want to display an output. That's like the eyes and ears of our program. Okay, that said, I will be including vector as well. So I'll include vector. And then let me go ahead and typecast my main function to an integer. Okay. add a pair of curly braces, maybe go down. Okay, so firstly, I'll be creating two containers. So the first container is going to be a standard vector container, which is only going to be consisting of integers. This is going to be named as numbers. I will set that equal to a list, and let's add a few numbers. So what all numbers do I need? I need 3, 6, 9, and 12. So let's go with 3, 6, 9, and 12. Okay, I will be ending this with a semicolon right here, and then let me create another container. So I'll go with a standard vector. Okay, standard vector, this is going to be a standard string. There we go. This string is going to be called honestly, this is going to be called alphabet. So I'll go with like alpha, maybe. Should I call these words? Okay, I'll go with words. Okay, words, which is going to be equal to a pair of curly parentheses. Let's add a few words. So I'll need to add alpha, beta, and gamma. So let me go with alpha, beta, and gamma. Alright, next up, let's see, I will be ending this with a semicolon, and then it says insert 15 at the start of the integer vector, insert delta at the second position of the string vector. So first, let's do the insertions. Okay, so let me go with my numbers as container dot insert. Okay, I want to insert something, so I'll go with my numbers this container dot the begin function. There we go. Okay, so it says insert 15, so let me go ahead and insert 15. Okay, did I spell insert correct? There we go. Okay, next up it says insert delta at the second position of the string, so let's insert delta. I'll go with my words container dot the insert function. I want to insert something. Let's go with my words container dot begin dot the begin function. Second position, so I'll increase this by 2. Okay, perfect. Words dot insert. Okay, actually I'll increase it by 2. My word is going to be delta. Okay, and maybe the delta is going to go inside. There we go. Alright, perfect. Let me end this with a semicolon. Yo, I just started learning C++. Can I also watch this? Honestly, yeah, I try my best explaining the stuff to like understand it myself. So I do explain it so like I understand myself, and later in the future if I get confused I might look at this. So this is like a tutorial that you guys can fact check because I'm not that good at explaining. That said, let me go ahead and let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and insert third element of the integer vector. So my third element of my integer vector is gonna be 9. So I'll go with my numbers as container dot, let's go with the erase function. I want to erase something. I'll go with my numbers dot begin function. Since I want to erase the third element, I'm going to go with +3. So this is going to, the +3 is going to be outside the pair of parentheses here. Okay, so what this basically does is it erases the third element from inside of my numbers as container, which only consists of integers in it. That said, I will be ending this with a semicolon, and now it says erase the first element of the string vector. So now I'll go with my strings as container, which is words. So my words as container only consists of standard strings. These are my strings. And the third element, actually the first element is alpha. So I think I spelled alpha wrong. There we go. So I'll go with words.erase. Words.erase. I want to erase something. I'll go with my words as container dot begin. This basically erases the first word, or like the first element that begins in my list. Since it's alpha, it is going to be erasing alpha. In the other hand, if I wanted to erase the second element, which is beta, I could go with +2. That would erase the second element. Okay, that said, use a reference loop, add 5 to every integer, append series to every string. So now let's go with a reference-based for loop. So I'll go with a for loop for a pair of parentheses. I gotta go, I leave a like. Honestly, I appreciate you, buddy, for sticking through the stream. I'll catch you in the next stream. That said, I'll go with for every, let's say, integer number, for every integer of my reference number. This manipulates the actual container. Okay, instead of a copy in my list of numbers. Good luck. I appreciate you, buddy ears. Okay, so for every integer number in my container of numbers. Okay, I will be ending this with a semicolon. I'm going to be adding a pair of curly braces, and then let's see. Okay, it says add 5 to every number. Add 5 to every number. So I could go with my number plus equals to 5. This adds 5 to all my numbers. I will be ending with a semicolon, and then I'll do the same thing for my word strings, or for my strings as container, or my words as container. But this time, instead of adding 5 to everything, I'm going to append series to every string. So let's go with a for loop for a pair of parentheses for every standard string. Okay, for a pair of parentheses, every standard string of let's say word, for every standard string of word in my container of words, I'm going to be adding a pair of anchor braces. I'm going to be appending something, so I'll go with my word that is going to increase by, let's go with a string of series. There we go. I will be ending that with a semicolon. Alright, perfect. Next up, print both vectors after all modifications. So let's go ahead and print my vectors. To print my vectors, I'll go with another for loop. So I'll go with for every a pair of parentheses for every, let's say, integer number in my container of numbers. I'm going to be adding a pair of curly parentheses and going with a standard console output. This is going to be standard, so std. Excuse me guys, my standard console output will have an insertion operator. I'm going to be inserting something. Let's see, what do I want to insert? I want to insert my number. I'll add another insertion operator, a space. So my numbers is going to be separated by a space, or divided by a space. And then I'm going to go with a standard console output, okay, with an insertion operator of a new line. I'm going to be having a new line. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to be adding another for loop for my container of words. So let's go with for a pair of parentheses for every standard string. Okay, for every standard string of, let's say, word in my container of words. Okay, I'm going to be going with a pair of curly braces. This is going to be standard console output with an insertion operator word. I want to insert my word with another insertion operator of space. My words are going to be divided with a space. Okay, that said, let me go with a pair of, actually let me go with a semicolon and then add a standard console output of, let's say, a new line. There we go. Okay, this is going to be a /n. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to be returning 0 with an, whatchamacallit, a semicolon. If I were to go within Control S to save my command and run the code, okay, let's see. It says 28, 11, 17, it says beta, delta, gamma. Although it should have said series as well, because I did add series to it. Okay, word plus equals to series. I've heard C is easier to learn than C++. Honestly, I actually might try C after C++ maybe. Okay, I added an AND. Okay, I should add an AND here as well. There we go. Okay, this is going to be a reference-based for loop as well. If I go with a Control S to save and run the command, okay, now it should show series. There we go, beta series, delta series, and gamma series. Okay, if I were to go with a Control C, copy that, get sensei/chatgpt here, paste it, go with Shift, Enter, and say, actually I won't say anything. Yeah, I might drink some water though, kind of thirsty. Guys, feel I should like get a better haircut or something. I didn't have time to like for these past 3 days I've been streaming a little sooner because I wake up like earlier. That said, on the weekends I do stream sooner, so I don't have enough time to like arrange my hair or anything. Okay, that said, yes, this is exactly what I wanted to see. Integer vector, insert, erase, and add 5 wire references. String vector, insert, erase, and append series wire reference. Printing both vectors correctly, your output will be 18, 16, 12, beta series, delta series, and gamma series. Perfect execution. You're dominating vectors, insertions, erase, and reference loops. Your mind is sharpening like a katana. If you want, I can now craft a series of 5 brutal combo questions that makes everything today's covered: pushback, insert, erase, reference, size/capacity, and string plus numbers in the same program. Honestly, yeah. And guys, if you guys are thinking we didn't like work on pushback, size/capacity, I did that like last stream, and this is like the same chat because I didn't have time to like set a new chat up. That said, let me just say, ready, sensei. Okay, maybe use a lip balm. Okay, this part's going to be fun. Excellent, the beast mode is engaged. Here's your question number 6, the combo vector gauntlet. This one will test everything you've learned today. Every strike counts. Instructions: create standard vector integers. So we have a standard container of vector which only consists of integers 2, 4, 6, and 8. Then we create another container that just consists of string. The strings are going to be red, green, and blue. So we have colors. Integer vector manipulations. So we have the pushback 10. Okay, so these are the manipulations that we gotta do to our integers as container. We gotta push back 10, okay. We gotta insert 1 at the start. We gotta erase the third element. We gotta double every remaining integer using a reference loop. String vector manipulations. We gotta push back yellow. We gotta insert purple at the second position. We gotta erase the first element. We gotta append color to every string using a reference loop. Okay, print both vectors after all modifications. This is a true test. Pushback, insert, erase, and string int. Alright, if I were to get sensei there, let's go with the control-A, delete the whole thing. Okay, let me start off by including pair of ankle braces, IO stream. So I want to include IO stream, and then let me go ahead and include something else. Let me include vector. The reason I did include IO stream is because IO stream is what tells our compiler that we use a console output, we want to show a text on the screen, or we use a console input, we want to get the user's input. Uh, Guys, I honestly can't read Hindi. Is that Komu? Guys, I apologize, I can't read Hindi. I should honestly learn how to read Hindi. I want to actually learn different languages as well. I might have a specific series on that. That said, I'll go with an integer main function, and I will go with a main function, but I will typecast that to an integer. Then I'll go with a pair of anchor brackets. Alright, next up, let's see. I might go with I might create a few containers first. So I'll need 2 containers. The first is going to be a standard, let's say, vector, which is just going to be consisting of integers. My standard vector container is going to be called number. Okay, I will be setting that equal to, let's go with a list or a container of, okay, what all numbers did I need? I needed 2, 4, 6, and 8. So let's go with 2, 4, 6, and 8. I will be ending my container with a semicolon and then create another container for my strings. So I'll go with a standard, let's say vector. Okay, a standard vector of strings. Let me go there, standard string. Okay, perfect. I will be having, let's see, my container is going to be called colors. So let me go with colors, which is going to be equal to a pair of curly braces. Are these called containers? I'm pretty sure this whole thing is a container. Are they called a list of stuff or something? Use namespace standard. Honestly, I used to use namespace standard, but many people were like, namespace standard is it's a kind of bad habit to start off as a beginner, because eventually bigger projects we would need to actually prefix our code with standard to avoid name clashing, if that made any sense. Hi, howdy Salwana, I appreciate you joining this stream. Hello. Okay, let's see. Okay, so standard vector, I'll need a few colors. So I'll go with red, green, and blue. So I need red, I'll add a green, and then let me go ahead and add a blue. Okay, with that said, I will be ending it with a semicolon. So these are my 2 containers. Now to manipulate my containers of my integer vector, I gotta push back 10, insert 1 at the start, erase the third element, and double everything using a reference-based for loop. So to do that, have you learned how to read commands in the arguments in C++? Have you heard to read command line? Honestly, I've never heard of command line. Is it the whole code here or something? Okay, use namespace std. Namespace std, it's bad. Honestly, yeah, because people did say using namespace std when we're working on bigger projects, then we might have name clashes because there are a few other, I don't know much, guys, but then they said, I've heard that there are a few other different maybe what's it called, import. There are a few other libraries that have the same console output as the regular console outputs that I use, standard console outputs. So using std clarifies it, if that made any sense, guys. I phrased that so bad. Okay, so I'll go with a for pair of parentheses, and then I gotta push back 10. So let's go with every integer of number. Okay, so this is I'm gonna be iterating over my container of numbers. Okay, and then I could add this as numbers. There we go. Okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and then let's see, what else do I want to do? I do want to push back something, so it says push back 10. Let's go with something like, let's change this to a reference-based for loop, okay? Alright, so before I add the reference-based for loop, I'll push back something. So I'll go with my numbers is container dot, let's go with push underscore back function. I want to push back something. What do I want to push back? Push back 10. I want to push back 10. I forgot honestly how do we use this. Okay, we just use it like that, okay. And then insert 1 at the start. So I'll go with my numbers as container dot insert. I want to insert something. Okay, let's see. In my numbers as container, I want to begin my number with, let's say 1. Okay, and if I'm not wrong, let me add a semicolon here and a semicolon here. Okay, if I understood this part correct, my number that begin is an iterator. I might have to also say that, and number 1 is my position. Alright, next up it says erase the third element. It's also forbidden in professional code guidelines like Maestra. Oh, I actually didn't know that. I just knew that people said that it's a good habit to like not use namespacing, so I thought might as well not use it. Okay, that said, I'll go with numbers.erase. I want to erase something. Let's erase something from my numbers. So I'll go with my numbers as container dot begin. Okay, this is going to be the third element. So I'll go with +3. What this basically means is in my numbers as container, so this is my numbers as container, I want to erase the third element, that is 6. Okay, and it doesn't work. It's not like indexes because the index 3 would have been 8 here, but then the third element is 6. I will be ending that with a semicolon, and then it says double every remaining integer using a reference-based for loop. Okay, so with that said, inside my reference-based for loop right here, I'm going to be doubling all my numbers. So I'll go with number multiplied by 2, or number asterisk equals to true, and I will be ending that with a semicolon. Okay, and then next up, string vector manipulations. Now let's manipulate our string vectors. So what do I gotta do? I gotta push back yellow, I gotta insert purple at the second position, and then I gotta erase the first element. My arm just cramped. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's start off by going with my colors as container. So colors dot the push underscore back function. Okay, push underscore back. I want to push back something. What do I want to push back? Let's say I want to push back yellow. So I'll go with yellow. Okay, perfect. I ended that with a semicolon, perfect. And then it says insert purple at the second position. So I'll go with my colors as list dot insert. I want to insert something inside of my colors as container. Okay, I'll go with the dot begin function. What do I want to insert? I want to insert purple at the first position. So I'll go with purple. Okay, perfect. I will be ending that with a semicolon as well, and then let's go with erase the first element. So let's go with my colors as list dot erase function. I want to erase something. I'll go with my colors as list dot, let's say, begin. Okay, dot begin basically gets the first element. So since my first element is red and I am erasing, that's going to erase my red element. That said, I will be ending that with a semicolon, and then lastly it says append a space color to every string using a reference-based for loop. So let's append that. Dude, green spelling is wrong. Did I spell it wrong, guys? Oh, my bad, guys. There we go. Yeah, I'm actually kind of bad with spellings. Actually, I think that was a typo. Yeah, I'm kind of bad with typo slash spelling. That said, I'll go with for. Let's go with for every, let's say standard string. For every standard string of, let's say, for every standard string of color. Okay, that will make more sense. In my container of colors, this is a reference-based for loop. That's the reason I'm using a and sign here, because reference-based for loops directly affects / manipulates our whole list. In the other hand, a regular for loop that that manipulates or affects a copy of my list. Okay, with that said, I gotta add colors, so I'll go with my color. I'm gonna plus equals to my color. There we go. Okay. After that, print both vectors after all modifications. Okay, I will be ending this with a semicolon. Now let's print everything. To print it, I'm going to be using a regular for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses, every integer of number, okay, in my container of numbers. And the colon basically stands for in terms of Python, like in Python words or Python syntaxes. Okay, so I will go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, this is going to be my number, another insertion operator, a space. Alright, I will be ending that with a semicolon. How do I learn everything about C++, like using it to build games and servers? Honestly, I don't have much idea about C++ just yet because I've been working on Python a lot and this is just my 4th day. That said, if you want, you could like join my Discord server and then DM me there for like the roadmap that for the roadmap that I'm currently using for my C++ journey. Eventually, like after like maybe 50 or 60 days, you could ask me the same question. I might have a pretty good idea about C++. This is my 4th day, guys. Okay, that said, let's see. This basically prints every single thing inside my container of numbers. I am going to be going with another standard console output with an insertion operator and go with a pair of quotes, a new line. Okay, there we go. And then let me do the same thing for my string. So for a pair of parentheses, for every standard, actually for every, I don't think, okay, I think standard, for every standard string of word, actually color, for every standard string of color in my list of colors or in my container of colors. Sar, hello, how are you doing, Zanyar? I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, let me go with a pair of curly braces. I'm gonna do something. Let's see. Okay, it says print both, so let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator, okay, of two less than signs. This is going to be my color, and then another insertion operator. This is going to be C out, okay. C out basically means console output. C stands for console and out stands for output. Output is what is displayed on our terminal. In the other hand, input is what we type on our terminal. That said, I'll go with the empty space. Okay, perfect. And then outside of my for loop, I'll go with another standard console output with an insertion operator of a new line, so a forward slash and a semicolon. Lastly, let me return 0 with a semicolon. Okay, if I were to go with a control S, save the command and run the code. Okay, so it prints 2, 4, 8, 16, 10. It prints red color, green color, blue color, yellow color, and okay, I think it just prints those. That said, let me go with the control A, control C, copy that, get Sensei here. And guys, I feel like I should like rest my arms even more. It hurts so bad, probably because I like just sit the whole day. I should start moving, guys. I used to like be a brown belt in like Kung Fu, but then ever since I started my programming series and my Python series, I haven't worked out at all. I feel like an old guy. Sorry, you're so kind. God forgive me, I feel guilty. Why do you feel guilty? Okay, let me say, Sensei, I feel like I understand. There we go. Honestly, Zanyar, you shouldn't feel guilty. I don't know for what though. That said, yes, you trusted warrior. Let's check your strikes carefully. Integer vector, pushback 10. Inserted 1, erase third element. String vector, pushback yellow. Insert purple. Wait, you inserted at begin, then immediately erase begin. That just removed. Oh, order of operations, I think. Okay, purple. The instructions wanted purple at the second position you need. Okay. Reference loop append. Okay, printing correct. Output. If you fix the string insertion begin +1, purple color will appear correctly. You're almost perfect. Just a tiny tweak, and this combo gauntlet is conquered. Okay, I might go with the next topic because I feel pretty confident with this part. Okay, let's go with purple. So purple +1. So this gets my my purple color in the first position. Okay, in the other one, I am just curious. What if I erase first and then I insert? I feel this is gonna like be the same. Let's go with the Control Z. Did I copy that? So Control C to copy, and then Control V to paste. Okay, perfect. Let's delete that. Go with the Control S if I were to run the command. Okay. Okay, purple color, there we go, it appears. Okay guys, order of operations, it does matter here. Let me copy that, get Sensei here. paste it, go with shift enter and say instead of adding the dot begin function begin +1, I try to add the erase, let's say under the purple where I appended a dot dot dot, if it made any sense. I should have said if that made any sense, that would have made more sense. Okay, I see what you tried, warrior. You attempted a clever swap maneuver, erase the first element and insert purple at the start, so it sort of works, but it doesn't match the instructions exactly. The instruction wanted purple at the second position, not the first. Your current vector of string after modifications, purple color, green color, blue color, yellow color, instruction expected green color, purple color, blue color, yellow color. Oh, I see. Okay, the cleanest way to hit the target, Okay, I see. Let me say, I see dot dot dot. Honestly, I do feel pretty confident about this topic. Actually, comma. I do need more practice. That said, I was just curious. What was the next thing that I had to learn? Maybe a different function or something new. Just curious. Okay, oh my gosh, guys, so many spelling mistakes. I should learn to fix my spelling mistakes. I love that hunger, disciples. So far, you've mastered vector, pushback, insert, erase, and references. And looping, you've also peaked at size and capacity. That's a huge arsenal already. The next natural step is to level up into more advanced vector functions and techniques. Things that are extremely useful in real projects. The clear wipes out the whole vector. Okay, like a clean battlefield, sweep, resize, change the vector size, either trimming or adding different values. Empty checks if your vector is empty. Add safe element access with both with bounce checking front and back. Grab the first and last elements quickly. Swap, change two vectors like a ninja stealth. If you want, we can start with clear, resize, and add. Bro, go to sleep. It's 1:30. Honestly, it's 2:59 p.m. for me. I'm currently in the United States. Okay, that said, let's say yes, let's say exclamation. Although before we work with them, can you teach me or explain them to me dot dot dot, because I've never used them, so I don't know how to use it, if that made any sense, guys. I should work more on my phrasing. I don't know, my phrasing is bad every single day. Listen closely, warrior. We're stepping into Vector Mastery 2.0. These new functions also give you more control and safety with your vector. Let's break them down carefully. Clear, what the clear function does. What it does, wipes the entire vector clean. Okay, all elements gone, becomes 0. When you use vector, you want to start fresh or remove all items without deleting vector itself. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, clear. Resize, what it does, changes the vector size. If you increase the size, new elements gets default value. 0 for integer, empty string for string. If you decrease it truncates, is that how you pronounce it? It truncates the extra elements. When to use, when you need a vector for exact size, you want to extend it. Example, standard vector integer nums equals to 1, 2, 3, resize 5. Oh, I see. Okay, this makes sense. So the resize 5. Okay, so if you increase the size, new elements gets added. 0, integer, empty string. If you decrease, it truncates extra elements. Okay, so basically 5 is, it keeps the size of my container to be 5 elements in it, but if I go with 2, it removes a few elements to limit my size to be 2. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, AT, what it does, safe way to access an element at a certain index, throws an error if index is out of bounds. When to use, when you want to avoid accidentally, when you want to avoid accidentally crashing your program with vector at index of index. Example, Okay, standard vectors. We have a container of numbers that just consists of integers. These are the integers. A standard console outputs nums dot at 1 prints 20. Oh, okay, so this is nums dot add index. So okay, so this is index 1, which is 20. Standard console output at 5 would crash safely with an error. Okay, front and back, front first element, back last element. Example, standard vector integer numbers. We have a container of numbers that just consists of integers 5 to 15. Standard console input numbers dot front 5, numbers dot back 15. Okay, pretty simple. Okay, the empty function, what it does, returns returns true if vector is empty, otherwise returns false. If nums, okay, so we can use an if statement. So if nums dot empty, is this like a conditional expression? Okay, if my nums is empty, if my nums is container is empty, I want to show a standard console output which is vector. Okay, swap, what it does, swaps two vectors completely. So standard vector integer. Alright, this is a bit more complicating. That said, I will read it once though. Standard vector integer. Okay, we have an integer called a, which is 1 and 2. So x-axis 1 and y-axis 2. I'm assuming these are coordinates or like something like that. B is 3 by 4. Okay, a dot swap b. Now 3 by 4 is a and 1 by 2 is b. Oh, I see. Okay, that was a lot. Let's say I feel like I understand, but let's go with one function at a time. Can I get a instructional based question mark? Okay, I had less typos, that's good. Okay, so yes, we're going step by step, no shortcuts. Let's start with clear. This is the easiest but most powerful instructional based question. Clear creates a standard vector, okay, which just consists of strings. So our container animal would just consist of strings with these elements: lion, tiger, bear, and wolf. Print all elements first. Use the clear function to remove all the elements from the vector. After clearing, print the size of the vector. If the vector is empty, print no animals left. Okay, this will test vector creation, looping, clear, size, and empty all in one mini challenge. Alright, let me start off by getting some say there. Okay, let's go with the control A, delete this whole thing. Let me start off by adding a include pair of ankle braces IO stream. So I want to include IO stream. Okay, let me just check if my stream's working good there. Okay, perfect. And then let me go ahead and include vectors as well. So I'll include a pair of ankle braces vector. Okay, next up, let me typecast my main function to be an integer. This is going to be having a pair of curly braces. I might go up, and now let me create a container for my string animals. So I'll go with a standard, a standard vector, which is going to be having a standard string. So this container is just going to be consisting of strings. I will be naming my vector to something like animals. There we go. Did I spell animals correct? ANIMALS. There we go. Okay, perfect. And I will be having a few animals. So what other animals would I need? I need lion, tiger, bear, and wolf. So first let's go with a lion, and then let me go ahead and add a tiger. And then let's add a bear. And lastly, let me go ahead and add a wolf. Okay, I will be ending my container with a semicolon. Print all elements first. Use the clear function to remove all the elements from the vector. So first let's print all elements. I will be iterating / looping over my container. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. Let's say for every standard string of animal, excuse me guys, in my container of animals, okay, this is going to iterate over every single animal inside of my animals as container. I'm going to go with a standard console output. So C out with an insertion operator. I want to insert my animal. Okay, there another insertion operator and empty space. They are going to be separated by a space because I don't want my animals to be clunked up. That said, under my for loop, I'm going to go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be ending the line. Okay, perfect. This is going to be a standard end line. Alright, perfect. Next up, what it says use the clear function to remove all elements from the vector. So to remove all elements from my vector is basically my container of animals. Okay, I'm gonna be going with my animals.the clear function. Is this how we use clear? Okay, that should clear everything. animals. There we go. Okay, perfect. I clear everything from my animals. Now I add an if statement. So if the vector is empty, print no animals left. Let's go with an if statement. If a pair of parentheses. Let's go with if my animals is container dot the empty function. If my animals is container is empty, I'm going to be printing something. I did forget. Do I need to add a pair of curly braces here? Then I will print something. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like no animals left. So I'll go with a string that says no animals left. Okay, perfect. Let me end that with a colon, actually a semicolon. Okay, perfect. If the okay, that's basically it. Let me go ahead and return 0. If I were to go with the Control S, save my command and run the command. Okay, it says lion, tiger, bear, wolf, no animals left. Perfect. Okay, let's go with the Control A, Control C, get sensei/ChatGPT here. Let me paste it at a, actually go with Shift Enter and say, sensei, I feel like this is correct. ... Although I do have a question. I forgot to ask you, what does a vector mean, ? In Python, I did work with vector 2, which let's see, which meant having a x-axis and a y-axis. Okay, x-axis and y-axis for positions. Okay, ... Is it something different in C++? And are there vector 2 and vector 3 in C++? ? That's just a curious question, guys. Wow, doing C++. How doing C shit's been so long. I appreciate you joining the stream. Nice content. I appreciate you, Pokinado, guys. Sometimes if I take like a quick second to like read you guys' names because I don't like pronouncing you guys' names wrong. That said, haha, I love that question. It shows you're thinking deep, warrior. Your code is perfect for the clear exercise. You created the vector, printed it, cleared it, and checked if it was empty. Nailed it. Now to your question about vectors. Standard vector in C++. Standard vector is basically a dynamic array. It can grow and shrink automatically. You can store integer, string, objects, anything. It does not have coordinates like XYZ. It's one-dimensional, but default just a list of elements. Okay, one-dimensional by default, just a list of elements. I see. Okay, here numbers at index 0 is 1, numbers at index 1 is 2, and so on. Vector 2 and 3. Vector 2 and 3 are not built in standard C++. They're usually from game engines or libraries like SFML, Unreal Engine, Unity, C++ plugins, and represent coordinates in 2D or 3D spaces. Vector 2, okay, X and Y, vector 3, X, Y, and Z. They're starts, is that how you pronounce it? Starts or classes, not part of the standard library. So in C++, when you say vector, you're almost always talking about standard vector dynamic arrays. The game engine vector 2 or vector 3 is something you define or import. I think I see. Okay, if you want, I can draw a quick diagram. Let me just say, never mind. Let me say, let's say, I think I understand ... I do not. Okay, that said, can we do more practice questions on the things we were working on? Guys, I feel like, oh my gosh, I didn't want to write this in caps. Okay, let's see. That's the spirit. Confession accepted. Understanding comes through action and not just talk. Since we nailed it clear, okay, since we just nailed clear, let's do another instructional based questions about, okay, to solidify before we move on. Okay, yeah, I do want to work more on clears. Hello, how are you doing, Kushal? I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, Hello, are you from SD Joseph's High School? Honestly, I'm not in high school, I'm in college. That said, I've honestly never heard of that high school though. Okay, let's see. Let me, instructional based question, clear, empty size. Create a standard vector integer called scores with elements 10, 20, 30, 40. I think I know you are alive. Honestly, guys, I've never heard of that school, and I am currently in the United States. That said, print all scores using a loop. Print the size of the vector before clearing. Use clear to remove all elements. Print the size of the vector after clearing. If the vector is empty, print all scores removed. Okay, that's said. Let me do that. Let me get Sensei there. Okay, let me go with the control A, delete the whole thing. Start off by including something. I will be including IO stream, so in a pair of angle brackets, I'll go with IO stream. Okay, perfect. Next up, I will be including vector as well, so I'll go with include vector. Okay, perfect. For my vector, for my code, I'm going to be typecasting my main function to an integer. There we go. I'll go with a pair of angle brackets, and then let's see. I might do something like I'll create a few containers. So I do need a container that contains scores. So scores are integers. So I'll go with a standard vector. Okay, so a standard vector which is just going to be consisting of integers. This is going to be called scores. I will set that equal to a few scores. So what else scores did I need? I need 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Sorry for that, you look familiar to one of my friends. Honestly, many people do say me that because I do look like an average person. So like almost everyone looks like me. That said, I'll go with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, just 50. Nice work, bro. Keep going. Just up. I appreciate you, Kushal, for that. That means a lot. I guess I can't disappoint you. Okay, I will go with this semicolon. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and print all scores using a loop. So let's print the original scores. So I'll go with a for loop. For a pair of parentheses, let's go with something like for every standard string of, let's say, score. For every standard string of score in my container of scores, I'm going to be doing something. Let me go with a pair of curly braces. And did I spell scores correct? S-C-O-R-E-S. Pretty sure I spelled scores correct. I added a semicolon here for every standard string of score in scores. Hold up, did I mess up somewhere, guys? S-C-O-R-E-S. Did I spell scores wrong? No, scores is spelled correct. Okay, for every standard string of score in scores. That's kind of strange. Okay, that said, I will look into that in a bit, I guess. Let's go with, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, I want to print my score. Okay, another insertion operator. They are going to be divided with a space. Okay, now, do I need to add this thing here? Okay, never mind. Did I spell scores wrong? Let me copy that. Paste it here. I spelled it correct. For every standard string. So for every standard string of score in my scores, it looks correct, honestly. Standard vector scores equals to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Oh, this is an integer. There we go, guys. That was so stupid. Okay, perfect. Alright, let's see. Next up, what else would I need? Okay, print the size of the vector before clearing. So I gotta print the size of the vector. So I gotta use the size before clearing. Okay, so let me go with another standard output. So I'll go with a standard console output. My standard console output is going to be having, let's say, my words is, or actually, my score dot size. So do I gotta iterate over it before printing the size? Okay, so print the size of the vector. Okay, so it says print the size of the vector, so I don't have to iterate over it. So I'll go with my scores dot the size function. There we go. Okay, although before my size function, I am going to be adding another insertion operator. And let's insert something else. I'm going to be inserting something like a string. This is going to say size. Okay, perfect. And then another insertion operator. Do I want to insert capacity? Honestly, I don't think I want to insert capacity. So I'll just go with the end line. Okay, standard end line. So std end line. Okay, perfect. Next up, if the vector is empty, print all scores are empty. Let's go ahead and add a if statement now. First, I will be clearing my vectors. So I'll go with my scores is vector slash container dot the clear function. This clears my entire container. Next up, let's go ahead and add a if statement. So if a pair of parentheses, if my, let's say, if my scores as container is empty, so if my scores as container dot empty, okay, I'm going to be printing something. I will be adding a semicolon here first. Okay, maybe zoom in a little. Okay, let's see. Why did I write enemy there? There we go. That's correct. Okay, if my scores is empty, I'm going to be printing a console output. So let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be inserting a string. My string is going to be something like, what did my string have to be? Okay, it says all scores are removed. Okay, I'll go with all scores are removed, exclamation. There we go. I will be ending that with a semicolon. And lastly, let me go ahead and return 0. Alright, perfect. Okay, if I were to go with a Control S to save the code and run the command, okay, it's going to say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, okay, and then all scores are removed, perfect. Okay, let's go with a Control A, Control C, and I am just curious, like I've heard the C is made for like building games, so is there any built-in libraries like Python had Pygames? I might have said to Sensei actually. I won't be using that just yet until I don't like master these syntaxes, that's it, I am curious though. Let me paste it, go with Shift Enter and say, so say I had a quick question. Question of topic ... That said, I need more practice with questions like these until I don't master them. Okay, full stop. My question was that since C++ is meant or is made, actually since C++ is supposed to make games, is supposed to be for making games, does it have a library like Python did? Like Python had Pygame question mark. I was just curious. Okay, let's see. Huh. Oh, curious minds ask the right questions. Yes, C++ does have libraries for game development, but unlike Python's Pygame, it's a built-in. Okay, it's a bit more complex because C++ gives you more control over everything, including memory and graphics. Here are some common ones. SFML, simple and fast multimedia library, simple in sprite to, okay, similar in sprite to Pygame, handles graphics, audio, windowing, and input. Easy to start with 2D games, example drawing a window and shape. Include SFML slash graphic.hpp, integer main. Oh my gosh, I don't understand a thing from here, guys. Okay, I see. I gotta learn how to use while loops and nested loops in C++ as well. That's it. Okay, direct media layer, Unreal Engine. Python's Pygame is more beginner friendly because everything is abstract, whereas C++ gives more speed and control. But you need library like SFML or SDL to do the same. If you want, we can stick to standard C++ for now. Master vectors. Okay, let me say. So let's say I see ... I was just curious. Can we continue more practice questions question mark on the same topic that required, let's see what it required, like the size, etc. I forgot what else required, guys. Okay, maybe I drink some water. Okay, hell yeah, we're not leaving anything half learned. Here's our next instructional based practice question to keep hammering those skills. Instructional based question, clear plus size plus empty creates a standard vector string. Okay, so a vector of string called cities that just consists of strings. Okay, with these cities, Tokyo, Paris, New York, and London, print all cities using a range based for loop. Okay, using a range based for loop, print all cities. Print the size of the vector before, okay, clearing. Clear the vector using clear, print the size after clearing. If vector is empty, no city is left. Alright, let me get Sensei there. Okay, let's go with the controller, delete the whole thing. Let me start off by including IO stream. So let me include IO stream, and then I will be including, excuse me guys, excuse me again, I will be including vector. I don't know why I'm barfing, guys, probably because I've been talking for so long. Okay, honestly, it's not even been that long, it's just been like 2 hours. I can't wait. Once my college gets over, I might actually stream for 6 hours again. That used to be fun. Okay, that said, I am going to be going with integer main. Okay, I will be typecasting my main function to an integer, and then let's see. I'm going to be creating a vector that contains a vector of container. Is that how we say it? I'm going to be creating a standard vector, okay, which is just going to be consisting of standard strings. Okay, so standard string, there we go. It is going to be called cities, okay, which is going to be equal to a few cities. Let's see what all cities. Okay, so the first is Tokyo, Paris, New York, and London. So I'll go with Tokyo, then Paris, okay, and then New York, and lastly, London. Let's go with a string of London. Okay, perfect. Alright, print all these cities using a range-based for loop. I don't understand why do I need to use a range-based. A regular for loop would have worked, honestly. I think it would. Okay, so let's go with a for pair of parentheses for every, let's say, integer for every, actually not integer, for every standard string. For every standard string of, let's say city, in my container of cities or in my vector of cities. Okay, for every standard string string at cities, container of cities. I'm pretty sure this is correct, right? Okay, I'm going to be doing something. Okay, for every standard, okay, there needs to be 2 colons here. There we go. For every standard city in my container of cities, I'm going to be going with a console output. So let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. There we go, with an insertion operator. I'm going to be inserting my city, and then another insertion operator. This is going to be a empty space with a semicolon. I will be ending that with another standard console output, which is going to have an insertion operator of end line. Honestly, a standard end line. Okay, that is going to be lowercase. Okay, that said, what's the next step? Clear the vector using the clear function. Print the size after clearing. If the vector is empty, no cities left. Okay, print the size after clearing. Clear the vector using clear and then print the size. So first I gotta clear the vector and then print the size. So let's go with something like clear my vector. I'll clear my vector of cities. Okay, so dot the clear function, and then I print the size. So I'll go with a standard console output std cout. Okay, an insertion operator of my, I might add a semicolon here, honestly. Actually, Control Z, semicolon, there we go. Okay, standard console output, I want to print the size. So I'll go with a, a string that says size. Another insertion operator, this is going to be my cities as vector. So cities dot the size function. Okay, perfect. That's my cities size. I will be ending that with a semicolon. That said, let me go ahead and add a new line as well. So I'll go with standard console output. I'm gonna go with a console output with another insertion operator. This is gonna be something like, honestly, in the other hand, instead of going writing that here, I could just add it here. So standard, I'll go with a / new line. There we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, next up, print the size after clearing. I printed the size. If the vector is empty, print no cities left. Okay, so let's go with a standard console output. Might go in a new line. So standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, I actually might not need this just yet because I do gotta check if my cities is empty. So I'll go with an if statement. If a pair of parentheses, so if my cities is variable or my cities is container, dot the empty function, right here. Okay, if my cities is empty, I'm going to be adding a pair of curly braces and type something. So I'll add a standard console output. So I'll go with std : console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something within a pair of double quotes, which is basically a string. This is going to say something like no cities left, exclamation. Okay, I will be ending that with a semicolon and then I'll go in a new line and return 0. Perfect. Alright, if I were to go with the Control S, save the code and run the command, okay, it's gonna say Tokyo, Paris, New York, London, size 0, no cities left. Perfect. Okay, let me go with the Control A, Control C, copy that. Let me get Sensei here. Okay, paste it and then send it. Maybe drink some more water. Guys, I need a lot of water to now process stuff. I can feel my brains being burnt out. Okay, excellent warrior, you nailed it. Everything is correct. You printed all elements using a range-based for loop. You cleared the vector, you printed the size before checking emptiness. You checked if the vector was empty and printed the message. This is exactly how clear, size, and empty work together. If you want, we can crank the difficulty up a notch. Next, combine clear with push back after clearing to rebuild the vector dynamically. Honestly, yeah. Honestly, yes, Sensei! Exclamation. Let's do it. Okay, let's see. Guys, I should fix more. I should work more on my typos. For some reason, my this arm keeps cramping up. That said, that's the hunger I love to see. Here's your next instructional based challenge. Let's level it up. Instructional based question: clear plus pushback plus size plus empty. Create a standard vector integer called high scores with 100, 200, 300, 400 marks. Okay. Print all these scores using a range-based for loop. I do have one question that asks, is it range-based for loops the ones? Oh wait, that is reference-based. This is range-based. My bad, guys. Okay. Clear the vector using clear. Check if the vector is empty. If it is, print vector cleared. Adding new scores. Add 3 scores after 500, 600, 700. Using pushback, print all scores again. Print the size of the vector after adding new scores. Okay, let me get Sensei there. That said, let's go with the Control A, delete this whole thing. Let me start off by including something. So I'll go with a hashtag include pair of anchor brackets IO stream. I want to include IO stream. Let me go ahead and include something else as well. I'll include, let's say vector. Okay, next up, let me typecast my main function to an integer and then add a pair of curly braces. Maybe add a bunch of spaces. Now let me create a container. So I will need a standard string container for my high scores. So I could go with something like standard console output, actually standard vector, pair of anchor brackets. Let's say I want to add a standard string. My standard this is base. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me again. This is basically a container, and I could name something. I could like name a specific container instead of always typing this whenever I want to append or remove stuff. If that made any sense. Okay, so my container is going to be called something like high scores, right? So I'll go with high scores. Okay, high scores. Okay, I'll set that equal to a list, and now I'm going to be adding a few lists. So my scores are going to be 100, 200, 300, and 400. Wait, hold up. This is not a string. This needs to be an integer, honestly, because these are scores. There we go. I'll go with 100, 200, 300, 400. Okay, that said, let me end that with a semicolon, and then let's see what's the next thing I gotta add. Print all scores using a range-based for loop. Okay, it's not a reference-based, it's a range-based. So I'll go with a for loop. So for a pair of parentheses, and then let's go with for every, let's say, integer of score. Okay, in my, let's say, high scores is list, so I'll go with high scores. Okay, I'm going to be adding a pair of curly braces and let me print my scores. So I'll go with a console, actually a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be my score with another insertion operator. This is going to be a space. I will be ending it with a semicolon. That said, let me go ahead and, okay, what's the next step? Clear the vectors using the clear function. Check if the vector is empty. If it is, print vector clear and adding new scores. Okay, so first we gotta clear our vector, and our vector here is basically our container of high scores. So let's go ahead and clear that. To clear it, I'm gonna go with my high scores is container.theClear function. I want to clear my high scores. I will be ending that with a semicolon, and then let's see. It says check if the vector is empty. If it is, print vector cleared, adding new scores. So first, let me add an if statement to check if my vector is empty. So if a pair of parentheses, if my high scores dot empty, if my vector is empty, height scores, there we go. If my vector is empty, then I'm going to be doing something. Let me go ahead and add 3 new scores called 500, 600, and 700 using pushback. So I'll go with my high scores is variable, or my high scores is container dot the push underscore back function. Is this even like legal to add it like this, or is it? Oh wait, I don't. Okay, there we go. My function was wrong. Okay, push back. Actually, my container spelling was wrong. I had a typo. Oh, I want to push back something. Let's push back 500, 600, and 700. So I'll go with 500. Okay, and then I'll go with my high scores. The high score dot the push underscore back function. This is going to be 600 and then 700. Okay, I'll go with another high score. The high scores dot the push underscore back function. This is going to be 700, and I am going to be ending everything with a semicolon. There we go. Okay. Why do I keep spelling high as height? Print all scores. Print the size of the vector after adding new scores. Okay, so let's print all scores. To print all scores, I'm going to be going with another range-based for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. Okay, let's see. So for every let's go with for every integer of score in my list of. Actually, in my container of high scores, I'm going to be going with, I keep spelling high as height. There we go. For every integer of score in my high scores, I am going to be going with, checking my spelling is correct, high, S-C-O-R-E-S. There we go. Okay, high scores. I'll add a pair of curly braces, and then I'm going to be printing it. So I'm going to go with an insertion operator. Okay. Actually, it says check if the vector is empty. If it is, print that. So I checked if my vector is empty. Okay, if it isn't empty, print vector cleared. Okay, I might have to actually copy this part, delete it, and paste it here. This would actually make sense. Guys, I feel like I'm reading the instructions wrong. Okay, there we go. This makes more sense. So if my container is empty, I'm going to be doing something. Let me print something. So here I'm going to be adding my standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be adding a string that says vector cleared, adding new scores. So vector cleared. Okay, vector cleared, comma, adding new scores, dot dot dot. Okay, perfect. And I'll end it with a semicolon. Okay, so if my high scores sys container is empty, I do that. Okay, and then these are my new high scores. Print all scores again. So let me go ahead and print all my scores again. Let me copy this part again. Delete that from there. I'll go all the way here. Tab, paste it here. There we go. Okay, I push back stuff. And now let me go ahead and print something. So I'll go with another standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be printing my score. Each score is going to be separated by a space. Okay, and then control, zoom out. Okay, lastly, let me go ahead and return 0. I will be returning 0. That said, if I were to control S, save my command and run the code. Okay, let's see. It says 100, clearing. Okay, I might actually add some spaces. Okay, so after I print this, I will go with the control 0 quick. Okay, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be a standard end line. Okay, I want to print in a new line. I will be adding that after I print this as well, right here. So standard console output with an insertion operator. I'll go with a standard end line. I want to end my line. Okay, and lastly, I'll add that after I print my high score. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert a standard end line. There we go. Okay, now if I were to go with the control S, save the command, run the command. Okay, these are the original scores, vector cleared, adding new scores. These are my new score, perfect. Okay, let's go with the control A, control C. And guys, I feel like I'm already like kind of exhausted. Plus, I got to study for my college stuff, so I might end the stream sooner than usual. But I might go a bit more. Okay, let's go with a shift enter and say, let's say, I feel like I'm getting a gist of it. Okay, let's see. Maybe I drink some more water. I forgot to check if I got like if my stream is going good on Twitch and Kick. Wait, Twitch works. Let me check on Kick. Oh, perfect. Kick works as well. Okay, that said, hell yes, warrior. Let me drink some water. Okay, hell yes, warrior, you're crushing it. You printed the original vector, you cleared it and checked the emptiness correctly. You pushed new elements back and printed them. Everything flows perfectly. The only tiny thing, there's a typo in the message. Vector cleared, adding new scores. Okay, should be vector clear, adding new scores. Okay, it's my typo, guys. Fixing typos is a part of being a master coder. That said, if you want, we can do more. We can do one more mega challenge where you clear a vector, add new elements, modify them using and references, and print everything all together. Do you want me to give that? Let me say, yes, should say. Okay. Oh, guys, I'm cramping so bad right now. Like, honestly, I feel like because I've been moving my arms like this, I should stop moving my arms. Okay, that's the spirit. Here's your mega challenge. This is where you combine everything you've learned about vectors, clear, push, and reference. Instructional based mega challenge. Create a standard vector. Okay, so we have a vector called weapons that only consists of strings. The weapons are sword, bow, axe. Print all the weapons using a range based loop. Clear the vector clear. Okay, if the vector is empty, print vector cleared, adding new weapons. Add 3 new weapons, spear, dagger, mace, using pushback. Use a range based for loop with the and, okay, with the reference based and to append of powered, spear of power, dagger of power, mace of power to each weapon. Print all the weapons after modification. Print the size of the vector at the end. Okay, let me get sensei there. Let's go and take control and delete the whole thing. Let me start off by including IO stream. So I'm going to include ankle braces IO stream. And then let me go ahead and include something else as well. I'll include vector. Okay, perfect. Maybe inside the pair of ankle braces. Okay, perfect. Next up, let me typecast my main function to an integer. So I'll go with integer main. Okay. There we go, a pair of curly braces. Let me scroll down. Maybe right there. Alright, next up I'll go ahead and create a standard console output. So a standard console output with an insertion operator. Actually, standard vector because I am creating a container. Okay, with a pair of ankle brackets. This is going to be a standard string. My container is only going to be consisting of strings. And my container is going to be called weapons. There we go, which is going to be equal to a few weapons. Let's see what are weapons. So the weapons that I need is sword, bow, and axe. So let's go ahead and add a sword. So I'll go with sword. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a bow. And lastly, I'll add a axe. Alright, perfect. Maybe I'll end this with a semicolon. Okay, next up, print all weapons using a range-based for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. Okay, let's see now. For every standard string of weapon in my list of weapons or in my container of weapons, I'm going to be doing something. Okay, what am I going to be doing? Let's see. I'm going to be going with a standard console output. So let's go with a standard std : cout, which stands for console output with an insertion operator. Bro, I'm your subscriber, and once you start streaming 4 p.m. India time, I'll be daily watching. Honestly, I appreciate that, user. Honestly, what is 4 p.m. India time in like the US? Let me check. What is 4 p.m. India time in the US? Okay, I might actually 12 p.m. Okay. Honestly, guys, I don't think I could like stream my 12 p.m. I will try though when my college is over because I gotta sleep a little sooner because I gotta like wake up for my college and then I gotta like study some for my college. And later at my 2 p.m., which I don't know what, I think it's around like 1 a.m. or something in India. That said, once my college is over, I might try to stream a bit later, like at midnight or something. Okay, that's shared. So I'll go with a standard console outputs and then I want to output something. Okay, I'll go with my weapon. Okay, and they will be separated by a space. Alright, perfect. Okay, next up what I have to do. The vector is empty. Okay, clear the vector, and if the vector is empty, print vector cleared, adding new weapons. Okay, so firstly, let's go with clearing my vector next, so I'll go with my vector, which is my weapons' container. So I'll go with weapons.clear. Okay, this weapons.clear function removes everything from my container because it's 2 a.m. and it's time for bed. Honestly, yeah, you should like head to it. Make sure you get your 6 hours of stream. I will be trying my best to stream at my midnight, so like you guys could like watch me more. Okay, that said, weapons.clear, that clears my weapons. I will be ending this with a semicolon. Okay, and then what else would I need? Let's see. If the vector is empty, print vector cleared, adding new score. So I will be going with an if statement now. So if, I'll add a pair of parentheses. So if my weapons is container dot empty. Okay, if my weapons is container is empty, I'm going to be printing something. I'll be adding a console output. Okay, the pair of curly braces is going to go outside my if statement's pair of parentheses. Okay, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be inserting something. Let's see. I'll insert a string, which is going to be in a pair of double quotes. That's going to say vector cleared, adding new weapons. Yo, howdy Mochi Mochi, I appreciate you joining this stream. Bye and wish you good luck. I appreciate your user, that means a lot. Okay, that said, let me go with vector cleared. Vector cleared. Exclamation. Adding new weapons. Adding new weapons. Exclamation. Okay, perfect. I don't need to like fix my typos and like type more carefully. Okay, there we go. Okay, I will be ending that with a semicolon as well. Alright, if my weapons is empty, if I don't have any weapons inside, okay, if my weapons' container is empty, I give that output, or I return that output. Okay, add 3 new spheres using push. Add three new weapons using push. So let's go with my weapons' container, which is currently empty, dot the push underscore back function. So push underscore back function. I want to push back a string. This is going to be a spear. Okay, and then I'll go with another weapons.pushback. So weapons.push underscore back. This is going to be, let's say, a dagger. Okay, and then let me go ahead and push back one more weapon. I'll go with my weapons' container dot the push underscore back. And guys, I did forget to add semicolons. Okay, this is going to be a mace. I will be ending everything with a semicolon. Okay, yo, bro, try Vim if you want to be a pro Sigma. Honestly, I've never heard of Vim. Is Vim like a IDE or something? And install Vim. I actually might look into that after the stream. That said, let's see. Using pushback, use a range-based for loop with and to appear. Okay, so I do gotta add a range-based for loop now. So let me go with a for loop. So for a pair of parentheses, let's say for every integer, or actually for every standard string of, there we go, for every standard string of, let's say, weapon. Okay, this is going to be and weapon. There we go, because this is a reference-based for loop that is going to affect my actual container instead of a copy of my container. Okay, in my container of weapons, okay, I'm going to be doing something. I'll go with my weapon plus equals to a list of, let's say, of power. Okay, perfect. To each weapon, print all the weapons after modification. Print the size of the weapon at the end. I will be ending this with a semicolon. The one famous with millions of downloads. Oh, I see. Okay, I'll definitely look into that after my stream if I had time after learning my college tips, because I got an exam tomorrow. Because I don't know if I'm prepared for that exam. Okay, let's see. That's a for loop. I might go ahead and print everything now. So I'll go with a regular for loop. So for every standard string of weapon, okay, in my container of weapons, okay, I'll go with a pair of curly parentheses, and I want to print my weapon. So I'll go with a standard console output, okay, with an insertion operator of my let's say weapon. Okay, which is going to be, I'll add another insertion operator. My weapons will be separated by a colon, actually by a space, and I'll end it with a semicolon. That's it. Now let me print the size of my weapon. So I will be going with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I will be ending my line here. And then let's go with, this is going to be a standard end line. So std : Alright, perfect. What are you studying? Honestly, this is first I started off learning a Python for 100 series. I was done with that series 4 days ago, so I created another series where I programmed for 250 days. My goal by the end of the series will be to make a game in general that includes AI/artificial intelligence in it. That said, my C++ for 100 series is indented inside of my 250 series because I think that I need C++ to make a game. So I'm going to be using a good chunk of the 250 days mastering C++. Okay, is it an university or college? Honestly, I started college, but I didn't take any kind of programming courses. I'm taking the basic courses. I am learning programming because I maybe kind of enjoy it. I don't know yet. I feel like I enjoy it. What is your exam? Honestly, it is like of a subject. I don't know if I can say the subject. I think I can. I'm just I usually don't say the subjects. That said, I do want to take math courses and all that. Okay, let's see. Standard console output with an insertion operator. Ta-ta-ta. Okay, I'm going to be printing something. Let's see. To each weapon, print the modified weapon. Okay, let me go with another standard console output with another insertion operator. Okay, I'm going to be inserting a string. This is going to be something like size. And then another insertion operator. I'll get the size of my weapons as list. So weapons.size. Alright, perfect. Maybe I fix my typo here, and then I add another insertion operator. This is gonna be my weapons dot. Let's go with the size function. Actually, not weapons dot size. This is gonna be my standard end line. There we go. Okay, and then let me go ahead and return 0. Okay, perfect. Maybe zoom in a little. Delete that. Alright, perfect. Okay, I do need to add end lines after every print, so maybe I could add a end line right after this. So I'll go with a standard console output. Okay, with an insertion operator of standard end line. Okay, perfect. Standard console output insertion operator, standard end line. Okay, perfect. That's pretty much it. Da-da-da. Actually, I might add one here as well, so I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of standard and line. Okay, if I were to go with the Control S to save the command, and if I run the command, okay, it's going to print sword, bow, axe, vector cleared, adding new weapons, sphere of power, dagger of power, mace of power, size 3. Alright, perfect. Let's go with a Control C. Let me copy that, get sensei/ChatGPT here. Let me paste it at a bunch of spaces. Actually, instead of a bunch of spaces, I'll go with Shift Enter. Actually, I didn't have anything to say. Okay, absolute masterpiece, warrior. You nailed everything. Printed the original vector, cleared it, and checked emptiness. Added new elements with pushback. Modified elements in place with and. Printed the modified elements and final size. Your vector mastery is shining. This is exactly how game inventories, dynamics, scoreboards, and or any modifiable list works with C++. Okay, we could move on to another level vector of structs or objects, so each element can hold more than one piece of data. It's like weapon with name plus damage. Honestly, I want to practice more in this topic. Let me say, sensei. Honestly, I want to get more practice with this topic. I could try that next stream. Okay guys, I might not stream for that longer. I might just go for more I might just stream for 27 more minutes or something. Okay, that's the right attitude. We'll hammer this topic until it's second nature. Here's the new practice challenge for you. Slightly trickier, but still on vectors, pushback, clear, and reference size and empty. Instructional based challenge, okay? Create a standard vector integer, so our container of integer, okay, which is actually our container is called player score, which consists only of integers. Our score is going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Print all scores. I'll go with clear, okay? Clear the vectors and check if it's empty. So first I clear the vectors, then I check if it's empty. If my vector is empty, I print clear. Okay, I print clear. Time for new scores. Add 5 new scores using pushback, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Use a range-based for loop. Okay, a range-based, not a reference-based, with AND. Doesn't that AND make it a reference-based? To half each score. Is that how you pronounce it? Half or something? Print all modified score, print the score of vectors. Okay, let me get Sensei there. Alright, let me start off by going with Control A, deleting the whole thing. Then let me go ahead and include a pair of ankle braces, IO stream, and then let me go ahead and include something else. I am going to be including vector as well, so let's go with vector. Okay, perfect. Next up, let me go ahead and typecast my main function to an integer. Okay, and then add a pair of curly braces, maybe go down. Alright, next up, let's see. It says create a container called player scores, or create a vector called player scores that only consists of strings. So let's go with a standard, let's say vector, a standard vector which consists only of standard strings. Okay, this is going to be called, let's say, player scores. So I'll go with player scores. Okay, I will set that equal to a list of scores. So where are my scores going to be? Did I spell everything correct? So standard vector. Okay, standard vector, standard string, imported vectors. Okay, let me just okay, standard vector, standard string. Okay. Oh, I need to add 2 colons. There we go. Okay, so what are my scores going to be? Since this is a string. Okay, my scores is, oh my gosh, I zoomed so, ouch. Guys, I messed my Sensei's instructions up. Okay, there we go. Oh my, 75, 80, 90. Yeah, guys, I'm just changing the size. Okay, there we go. This is much better. Okay, I'm in the wrong instruction. There we go. Okay, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So let's add those. So I can go with 10, 20. Actually, before I add those, let's go with the Control Z. There, I'll go with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, and this needs to be comma. I don't know why did I add a full stop. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, perfect. I am going to be ending this with a semicolon. That said, I need to print all scores, so let's iterate over my container. I'll go with for a pair of parentheses for every standard string. Okay, for every standard string of, let's say, score in my player scores. Okay, in my player scores as container, I'm gonna be printing my scores. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is gonna be my score with another insertion operator of an empty space. Okay, I will be ending that. Why does that show like a red arrow mark there? Did I like mess something up? Okay, I'm pretty sure I didn't. Alright, next up, let me go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of standard end line. Alright, perfect. Why is that showing an... Oh, I think... Okay, I do have this here. Okay, I shouldn't add a equal to. Maybe I should. Let's go with this. And I add a equal to here as well. No, I don't think I need to add a equal to here. This doesn't make sense. Did I mess up somewhere, guys? Or should I need just... Do I just need to indent this? Huh. Standard vector, which just consists of string. Did I spell string correct? Okay. Okay, our container is called player scores, which is equal to these scores. Okay, and then I iterate over it for every standard string of scores in my player.scores, standard score, okay, with an insertion operator score. Why is that showing a red arrow mark? I guess we'll figure that out later, guys. Okay, so I print my regular scores, clear the vector, and check if it's empty. So first I gotta clear the vector. So let's go with standard. Okay, actually before standard, I will go with my player scores. So my player scores dot the empty function. Okay, this is empty. There we go. Okay, this basically clears my entire vector here, vector of player scores, and check if it's empty. If it is empty, print clear, time for new scores. I'll go with an if statement now, but first I'm going to end this with a semicolon. Okay, now I go with an if statement. If a pair of parentheses, let's see. Excuse me, guys. I'll go with something like if my standard... Okay, if my standard string of... Actually, not standard string. If my player score dot empty... Okay. And instead of empty here, I will add clear. Okay, there we go. The clear function clears my entire container, and then the if player score.empty. Did I mess something up in my player score? I might add this whole thing again. Oh, this is a string. No wonder. There we go. That's much better. Okay, this is going to be integer as well. Okay, perfect. That fixes everything. Okay, standard. Okay, if my player score dot empty, if my player score is empty, did I spell player here correct? Player. Let me just copy that, paste it here. Okay, I spelled it wrong. Okay, let's see. If my player score dot empty, if it is empty, I'll add a pair of curly braces, and then let's go with a console output. So I'll go with standard console output with an insertion operator. Let's print something like clear time for new scores. I'll go with cleared, comma, or exclamation, time for new scores, dot dot dot. Okay, next up, what else would I need? Add 5 new scores using pushback 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. So let's add new scores. I will be ending that with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and add something. So I'll go with my players scores dot push underscore back. I want to push back a few scores. This is going to be 100. Okay, and then I'll add a semicolon. Go with my player scores. Okay, my player scores dot the push underscore back function. This time I'm going to be pushing back 200, so I got to push all the way up to 500. I will be ending that with a semicolon. I'll go with player scores dot the push underscore back function. This is going to be 300. I'll add a semicolon. I will go with player scores dot the push underscore back function. This is going to be 400. And lastly, I'll go with my player scores, okay, dot the push underscore back function. Push underscore back. This is going to be 500, which I am going to be ending to 500. I'll be ending that with a semicolon as well. This is going to be player. I managed to learn C pointers, structs, variables, functions, dynamic memory allocation, and basic header files in 2 hours. That's honestly pretty insane. Okay, why don't you use namespace std, then you won't have to type std every time. Honestly, yeah, many people did say me to use namespace, but in the other hand, some other people did say me in bigger projects it's almost not recommended to use std because we could get name conflicts, or like was it called name conflicts, or like name clashes? Pretty sure name clashes, because if we import a different kind of library inside of the inside of C++, then that library could have a console output as well, so it might get confusing. So standard console output actually keeps it more readable, and maybe use tabs as well to fasten the typing process. Honestly, I do use tabs. Okay, is tabs like for indenting? Pretty sure it is for indenting. Okay, and then use a range-based for loop with add to half each scores, Okay, so let me go with a for loop now. So for every integer, let's go with for every integer of score in my player scores, okay, in my container of player scores, I'm going to be halving my containers. So I'll go with my score divided by 2. I don't know if we can use floor division here. Wait, hold up. Divided by 2 actually makes it a comment. Okay, there we go. Alright, next up, to halve each score, print all the modified score, print the size of the vectors. So let me end the line here, and then I'll print the modified score. So I'll go with something like another for loop. So for integer, okay, for every integer of score, okay, for every integer of score in my player scores, okay, I'll go with, let me just do a control Z. Did I spell my player scores correct? Player scores, there we go. I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and this time I'm going to be going with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be inserting something. I'll insert my score with another insertion operator of a space. My scores will be separated by a space. Okay, let's see. Print the modified scores, print the vector size. Alright, so since I printed something here, I will go with another standard console output with an insertion operator of standard end line. This is going to give me a new line. Alright, perfect. I might add a standard new line after I print this as well. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of standard end line. Okay, and maybe here as well. I did add it here. Alright, perfect. This is going to be standard console output with 2 colons. Okay, perfect. Alright, print the size of the vector. Now let's print the size of the vector. So I will go with another standard console output. Standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be printing a string which is going to say something like size, and then I'll go with another insertion operator, go with my player scores says container dot the size function. With another insertion operator, I'll go with a new line, so a forward slash or a backward slash and n. Okay, lastly, let me go ahead and return 0. Alright, perfect. If I were to hit Ctrl S, save the code and run the command, it's going to print okay, so it prints 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, clear time for new resources, size 5. Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, you shouldn't be using namespace, std, you can use std console output, standard console output, or whatever function you want. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, next up, let's go with the control A, control C, gets Sudsa here. Okay, let me go ahead and maybe zoom in a little. Okay, let me paste this, go with shift enter and say I feel like I should do one more question before I end the stream, guys, because I do have a exam tomorrow. I do gotta study for it. I don't want to completely burn myself out because I did wake up and I started studying. So I do want to like have some extra space in my brains to work on my college stuff. That said, haha, I see the mistake, warrior. You're so close. Okay, I actually messed up. You're so close, but that loop here does not change the value of score. You're just calculating. Huh. I did add a and. Okay, and throwing it away, you need to store it back inside the score. Score equals to score divided by 2. Viv, you can use using std count. It's safe and saves keystrokes. Oh, honestly, I see. I could actually try that. Okay, scores equals oh, did I just go with score divided? Oh, I didn't use the augmented assignment operator. Okay, actually, let me fix that real quick. Okay, I'll go with divided equals 2. Okay, if I were to go with control, I'll save the command and run the code. Let's see. There we go, that's the half of everything. Alright, perfect. Okay, let's go with the control A, control C, good /ChatGPT here. Let me go ahead and paste it. Okay, go with shift enter and say, can we do one last question, question mark? Okay, let's see, maybe I like hydrate my lips up. Okay, yes, finally, let's go out with a bang. Here's your final boss instructional question. Create a standard vector of standard string called spells. So we have a container that just consists of strings, okay? With these initial elements, fire, ice, and lightning, print all spells, or add earth at the beginning and wind at the end. Remove ice from the vector using reference and append spell to all remaining spells, print all spells after modification, and finally print the size of the vector. Okay, so let me get Sudsa there. Let's go with the control A, delete the whole thing. Let me start off by including, let's include IO stream. So I'll go with IO stream, and then since I am going to be using vectors as well, I will be including vectors. So let's go with include vector. Okay, vector. And now I will be typecasting my main function to be an integer. So let me go with main. Okay, add a pair of curly braces, and then let's see. First, I'm going to be creating a container, which is just going to be consisting of strings. So let's go with a standard vector, pair of angle brackets. This is going to be standard string. So this container is just going to be consisting of strings. The container is going to be called spells. Okay, I'll set that equal to a pair of curly parentheses, or like a list. Let me go ahead and add a few spells. So the first spell I need is fire, ice, and lightning. So let's go with fire, and then might as well go with ice and lightning. Okay, perfect. Alright, next up I will be ending my container with a semicolon. Alright, print all spells. So now to print all my spells, I'll use a for loop. So for a pair of parentheses for every integer of spell in my container of spells. I'm gonna be did I spell spells correct here? Spells. Okay, for every. Okay, this is not gonna be integer. Instead, this is gonna be a standard string. Okay. Here's another tip. If you can do using your type, you can do using your underscore type equals to integer to make a type replace your type with your name choice. Oh, I see. And then int type with your type choice. That actually makes a lot of sense. I might have like a whole separate stream on like mastering those things or like mastering the include section. Okay, that said, first I do that and then add a pair of curly parentheses. Okay, let's see. Let me print. So I'll go with a standard console output. So std console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be inserting my spell, which is going to be separated by an empty space. I will be ending that with a semicolon. Then let's go with another standard console output with an insertion operator of end line. Okay, perfect. This is going to be a standard end line. So standard end line. Alright, perfect. Next up, it says add earth at the beginning and wind at the end. So let's push something. So I'll go with something like my spells is a container dot push underscore back function. I want to push back earth at the beginning. Okay. And then I'll insert something at the end. So I'll go with spells as container dot insert. I want to insert something to my spells. So it's spells dot begin. Actually, I'll go with spells dot end. And what's the end thing going to be? It's going to be ice. Okay, perfect. Spells dot insert. I will be ending them with a semicolon. That said, let's go with remove ice from the vector. Okay, I got to remove ice from the vector. So let's go with spells dot. Can I use the remove function here? Actually, it's spells dot erase. There we go. Okay, spells dot erase. I want to erase something from my container of spells. So I'll go with spells dot the begin function. Okay, this is gonna be ice. Ice is gonna be at the end, so I will go with something like -1. Okay, spells dot erase ice. This is what GPT says. It creates a new name for an existing type. Super handy for making code cleaner and easier to change later. Honestly, it actually sounds pretty useful. I might just try that. Okay, that's erase. This is begin. Huh, I might go with 5 in that case. Okay, how do I like remove the last one? Is it like -1? Okay, spells dot erase. I think yeah, -1 makes sense. There we go. Okay, and then using a reference-based for loop, append spell to all remaining spells. Okay, so let me append that. So I will go with a reference-based for loop. So I'll go with for pair of parentheses for every, let's say, standard string of I don't know, spell. Okay, in my container of spells. Actually, in my container of spells. Okay, I'm gonna be going with okay, let's go with my spell. So spell plus equals to a string which is gonna say spell. Alright, perfect. Okay, next up, print all these spells after modifications and finally print the size of the vector. So I will end this with a semicolon and then let me go ahead and print something else. I'll go with another for loop. So for every standard string, okay, maybe go with a pair of parentheses for every standard string of spell. Okay, in my container of spells. So in my container of spells, I'm going to be doing something. Let me go with a pair of curly parentheses and then I'm going to be going with a standard console output with an insertion operator of my spell, another insertion operator of a space. My spells are going to be divided by a space. That said, I will go with a new line. So let's go with a standard console output, an insertion operator of, let's go with a /n or a /n for a new line. And then I'm going to be returning 0 with an insertion operator. If I were to go with a Control S to save my code and run the command, okay, we wait for it to run. Fire, ice, lightning. Okay, it says fire, ice, lightning. Although I did specify here, I want to modify my original spells container with this to it. For every string, count spells. Okay, let's see. Standard console output: fire, ice, and lightning. It should say fire spell. I did push back earth as well. Okay, it says add earth at the beginning and wind at the end. Okay, so it did say to. Oh, and wind at the end. This is going to be wind. There we go. Okay, and then spell dot erase. If I go with the control S and run the command. Okay, it says fire, ice, and lightning. Although, did I save my command properly? It says fire, ice, and lightning. That is the initial ones right here. Okay, and then I go with pushback and insert. I go with a reference based for a loop for every and spell, every string and spell in my container of spell increases by this, and then for every standard string spell, I go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of spell, okay, with a space. Okay, this honestly looks correct. A standard console output, new line, return 0. Okay, did I hit Control S correctly? Okay, I hit Control S in my terminal. There we go. Okay, apparently I didn't hit my Control S properly. I don't understand. Okay, ice spell, lightning spell, earth spell, and wind spell. Perfect. Okay, let's go with a Control A, Control C. Get Sensei here. End is not validate. End is not valid iterator. Wait, it's not. Let me check that. And right here. Okay, isn't end like? Actually, I might ask that part to Sensei. Okay, let me paste this. Go with Shift Enter and say, Sensei, someone from my stream said that end is not a valid iterator, question mark. Okay, let's see. Oh wait, yes, I can see multiple things going wrong here and we need to clean this mess up. Spells.pushback earth, you wanted to add earth at the beginning, not the end. Okay, I could have gone with insert, okay. And then the begins, pushback adds to the end. Okay, to add at the beginning, you need to go with insert, begin, earth. Honestly, guys, I feel like I do know this part. I just messed up probably because I can't think. That said, spells.insert, end, wind. It's technically okay, but pushback wind is simpler. Using end as an iterator for insert. Oh, I see. Okay, okay. Is valid, but if you mess up with offsets, it crashes. Spell.erase. Okay, I see. Let me get Sensei here. I think I understand what it meant. So instead of going with self.pushback, which pushes everything to the end, I'll go with spells.insert. I want to insert something I want to insert something inside of my spells container. Let's see, what do I want to insert? I'll go with begin. I want to begin something with, let's say, earth. Okay, I want to begin my container with earth. Okay, did I spell it correct? INSERT, spells.begin, earth. Okay, I do need to add a comma here. Or perfect. Next up, I go with spells.insert wind. Since wind goes in the end, I can go with spells.push underscore back. And guys, I actually knew this part. I just messed up. I don't even know why. Okay, I'll go with wind here. Alright, perfect. And then I go with spells.erase. I will end this with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. If I were to go with a Control S and run the command, let's see, fire, ice, lightning. Wait, shouldn't it print more? Did I press my Control S correct? Let me press it like a bunch of times. And now if I were to run the command, fire, ice, lightning. Okay, that's pretty strange. Let's go with a Control C. Okay, let me just go with another Control S one last time and check. Okay, just prints fire, ice, and lightning. I didn't even change all that much. Okay, let's get Sensei here. Whoops. Guys, I canceled Sensei by mistake. There we go. Okay, let's see. I think it's kind of laggy because like it's an old chat. Can I paste it, go with Shift, Enter, and say, why does it only print, why does it only output, okay, fire, ice, and lightning, question mark, let's see. Okay, oh Vivek, I see exactly why your output looks broken. Look at this line carefully. Spells.erase, spells.begin. Huh. Here's the nightmare. Yeah, I should have gone with insert. Okay, spells dot behavior, corrected approach. Wait, +1. Spells dot erase, spells dot. Oh, okay. Do not touch begin -1. Everything else insert. Looks fine. Alright, guys, I just feel I can't think properly. That's why. Okay, let me just. Okay, instead of going with this, I'll go with +1. I want to erase +1. Okay, let's go with Control S. If I run the command. Okay, that works. I think, guys, it wasn't the terminal. It was just me. That said, let's go with the Control A, Control C. It's here for the last time. Well, last time for this stream, that said. Let me paste it at a, go with Shift Enter and say, I see ... Although I am planning to end the stream right now ... Is there anything that you want to say to the viewers before I leave ? Guys, I don't know how. I don't even know how Sensei gonna understand this. Have so many typos. Listen up, viewers. Vivek is taking a break to sharpen his mind for college exams, and that's exactly what it takes to become a master. Remember, learning C++ isn't about rushing, it's about grinding, making mistakes, and fixing them like a warrior. Don't waste time scrolling aimlessly. Practice, challenge yourself, and every error is just another step closer to domination. We'll be back soon with more intense coding, so stay hungry, stay focused, and never let complexity win. Okay, let me go to my main camera. Alrighty, guys, basically that was pretty much it for the stream. I should have done more. That said, I do feel like that was like, because I've been consuming new information. Like, since I wake up, I share my college stuff. When I'm streaming, I learn programming stuff. So my mind can't handle any more than this. When it comes to this thing for today, I don't even know how guys, I'm phrasing real bad. Okay, that said, if you guys enjoyed the stream, don't forget to subscribe. Like it helps with my algorithm, sharing makes you smile, and subscribing is like a cherry on top. And guys, I did start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube at the same time. So if you guys do enjoy my content and haven't followed me on Twitch and Kick yet, make sure to follow me on Twitch and Kick. And if you guys haven't subscribed to me on YouTube yet, make sure to subscribe to me on YouTube and also join the Discord server. Link is in the description and in the pinned comments. Well, I'll catch you guys in the next live